Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Indica Live. I'm your boy DJ Ball, and we are here with a whole panel of people today. We got all our familiar faces back here, man. Joey back, Boogie back, Tori back. You know what I'm saying? She back from over to the war. She left us for some months, man.
Right, I didn't go to war. I went to. Matter of fact, I went to Seattle. It was the war.
That was war, nigga.
Everybody was on drugs out there.
Let's check in with everybody real quick. Joey, what's going on, man? What you been up to?
I just been working. Flourishing.
New gig?
Yeah. Now coaching gymnastics and all this other shit.
You do?
How did you get into coaching gymnastics? That's what's up. He said
Hey, put
just
some shit you ain't qualified for.
It's kind of hard to turn out. It's kind of hard to turn out a nigga with two masters. That's how I want it.
That's how you do
In
it.
gymnastics.
Not in gymnastics.
Like, nigga, this got two masters in
Two other
gymnastics.
things, but when I go in there and I talk, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk, and then like you're like, fuck it, we gonna run with it.
That's what's up, man.
Ain't gonna lie, I did
Congratulations
a
on
cartwheel
that.
today, guys.
Shout out to Boogie, man. OG Boogie in the building, man.
Yeah, man.
Original, man.
Working, man. Raising these teenagers, man. It's a
Oh
hard
yeah.
job.
That's what we on today too.
That shit ain't that hard.
We gonna talk about that today too.
But you ain't got no
Dig
kids.
into it. Tori, what's happening, man?
Hey, y'all. You know, I just, you know what I do in the gym, at work, sleep, in and out, hard, you know. That's it. Taking all my clients, so we know I need some help. I got no client in, tap in.
Happy to everybody in the building, man. And shout out, we got two new faces in the building today, man. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Tell us where you're from, what you do.
I'm Deanna. I'm originally born in Chicago, but I'm from Danko. What's good?
What's good? Shout out to the building, man. My Midwest sister in the house, man.
How
Just
long
like-
you been? How long you been in San Diego?
Over 25
Oh,
years.
you from here?
They didn't have half these streets when she first moved here.
Man, that part.
Half of this shit was still going on.
And I'm Lex. I'm from Nevada. That's what we do as well. So I am a bio artist, and I also provide therapeutic services to anyone aged to 5 to, I think my oldest client is like 57. So.
Well, it's good that we got you today, because we're gonna need your expertise on some stuff. Topic today, you ready to dive into it?
Yeah.
Topic today, you ready? We failed Gen Z. That's it. We failed Gen Z, man. That's the topic today. And we talking about talking about millennials. If you don't know what Gen Z is from 1997 to 2013. Basically, the generation behind us. Our generation was 81 to 96. And that is millennials. So everybody just want millennial now.
No.
Yes.
Proud.
I'm 80, so is
I'm a
that
millennial, so wait.
Are you a baby boomer?
Yeah. No, I'm not a damn baby. Don't be trying to do me like that. Don't be disrespectful to me. Don't do
You know how old a baby boomer is?
Yeah, that's like the 50, 60-year-old. Damn.
That's the babies that came out to World War II.
There you go.
Baby boomer.
She's out there being war babies.
Say some music come on, she'll do the twist.
Talking shit, I'm about to say,
He
oh
only a year behind.
I am on the cusp myself.
my God.
So you are, what?
Generation X.
Generation X. Yeah, it is.
That's a cool generation.
That's Michael Jackson. Remember Michael Jackson was in
No, nigga, because I'm millennial, nigga. He always been light skinned.
your whole life. You don't remember him.
No,
He don't remember the
He
real
was
black.
first couple years of life. I was 91 when he got burnt in Coca-Cola, ain't
I can't. Why you know all them facts?
You a wild boy.
You know all
it? Yeah, Pepsi. But he was 91.
Probably was Pepsi, though.
He was Pepsi.
You know, black people was messing
Okay,
with
so on the panel today, how many people in here actually have children?
I do.
So
3 and 3?
Yeah.
So about half of us have children.
Perfect.
Yeah, the perfect.
The other 3 of you guys have any children in your life that you actually help raise,
Yeah.
or mentor, anything like that?
Dude.
I've been stepmommy a couple of times.
You been a stepmommy?
Praise God for it.
Right?
Those are
Jesus'
important.
name.
What was your experience with the behavior of your stepchildren?
They were all young, so they weren't teenagers. It was, the kids that I was kind of stepmommy for. They were like super young, like 2 years old, maybe up to like 5. So
Okay. And D, how old are you?
I actually became a stepmom before I had a son.
Okay, so you had a little practice.
Yeah, I had a lot of
Pre-season.
practice. Pre-season. I was actually 20. And I had my son's dad had 3 other kids before my son. And so I didn't have my son until I was 27.
Okay.
And he's 15 now, raising a 15-year-old. Raising a 15-year-old being a single mom is a challenge, and I think they're worse than girls.
You think they're worse than girls?
They're worse than girls. Like I think what it is, with a girl, I know how to acknowledge their feelings. With a boy, they don't know how to express their feelings to a woman. And I think he does need his dad or a man in his life to show him guidance, because he thinks that I don't know everything, and he doesn't understand that his mom knows everything. So, you know, but yeah, it's a big challenge. But I wanted a boy. I did not want to be a single mom, but I am, and I'm doing it to the best of my abilities.
Shout out to that.
Yeah.
First, to be honest, single mamas make draft picks. That's how I see it.
Oh my God, you just told me. That's what you feel like.
Only defense. Niggas hurt my mama, I'm hurting niggas.
A water boy in there.
for real.
Hey, so I want to ask this question. I'm gonna come back to you, D. I want to ask this question to you. What do you said it's challenging? What do you feel like is the biggest challenge compared to what
It was how did our parents feel like we were challenging compared to how you feel like it's challenging for you?
For me, I have my mom. My mom passed in 2018, so I have her guidance. So she was a big inspiration for me as being a single mom, and she raised a boy and girls. So having someone to guide you, I think, is a big thing. But when you're doing it all yourself, it's challenging. I do everything myself. Every fucking thing. So with that, it's a challenge for me, and it's hard. I love it, but I wish there were more men out there would take lead and see that when women need help, to help them.
Right.
So that's me.
Understood. So Boogie, I want to come to you real quick.
Yes, sir.
How many you got, boss? Amen. Hallelujah.
17,
God.
16, 12,
That boy,
We praying for you, boy.
got a baby girl. Got 3 boys, baby girl.
3 boys, so they got the baby sister.
Baby sister.
Protect her. So what's the dynamic? Okay, so you were raised in the 90s.
90s-ish, you know what I mean? What do you feel like is the biggest difference between our crack era, right? What do you think the biggest difference is between raising them compared to how we were being raised?
The way, all right, so first, when we was being raised, you don't know people in there. There's no bullying. There's no bullying. Like the whole wearing pajamas, like the kids wear pajamas to school, Crocs. Like you couldn't do that shit when we was young.
Cause you'll get bullied.
Cause you technically get bullied, but it's just like
So you
no,
see,
it was
no bullying.
there's nothing to self-improve.
There's no
There's no
bullying
reason
now?
for anything, so they don't self-improve. They just do shit when they feel like it, on their own accord. And they narcissistic as hell. It's about me. It's about me. It's about me. Then you got the social media reinforcing the stuff. Well, it's about you. It's about you. It's about you. So it's a lot of stuff that they don't respect. Like they do shit now. Like they got like we talk about music.
Right.
We talk about stuff like that. Like we came up, it was drug dealer music.
Yes.
It was a self-improvement.
Yes.
Now it's drug user music.
Said it was
Do the lean,
right.
do the sniff this, take this pill. Like,
Pop that Molly.
yeah, who's gonna who self-improving? Where's the I don't see like what's the motivation to be a better person. But looking at somebody else's page on Instagram or Facebook and being like, hey, I see this person doing this, so I want to do that. So a lot of people, what I realize now when I talk to my teenagers is you're trying to live a dream. You're trying to live somebody else's dream. It ain't really what you want to do. You'll see something, you see somebody else doing something, you see their results. You didn't see the hard work they put in. You just see the results, and then you're just like, oh, I want to do that. That ain't what you want to do.
Right.
So that's all that, just the narcissistic stuff and stuff like that.
Joy, I know you don't have any kids, but you got experience.
I was raised by a single grandmother, single mother. I think the biggest drawback me and my grandmother used to have is because, unfortunately, my grandmother didn't have much of a high school education. So me and her used to start really butt heads once I got in the high grade that she achieved.
But then is to me at the time, like not knowing what life is and what experiences. Now I'm like internally discrediting everything that she may be telling me because she didn't have the proper education, and you also a lot of that come to what you expose your kids to, as in like what type of struggles you allow your kids to see you going through. And your kids can lose respect for you based off.
Your kids these days.
You can't be doing you can't be going to the club late night, come home pissy ass drunk and wondering why your son don't respect you or don't respect other women because he don't respect his mother.
You have a lot of men around your kids.
Exactly.
And people don't understand that. It's when you're bringing a lot of men. I'm really big on that. You would never see me bring a man to my house. You would never see me telling my son I'm dating this dude. He has to be really someone that I'm into before I can introduce my son to anybody. Because having a son, I do not want my son thinking that his mom is just out there freely just giving it up. I'm just raising a boy is different than raising a girl. I mean, it's both. You don't want both of them to see that. But in the same sense, for a boy, you really don't want your mom to be out there popping up shit.
And you look kind of young too, so you don't want your mom out there being a hoe. It's alright, my mom kind of cute.
And then you want to be out there being a hoe.
And that's a big thing with my son. my son, he's like, if this dude try to follow you, block him. And I'm like, what? He was like, because he thinks you cute. Block him, Mom. I'm like, but he's like, Mom, block him. So that's a big thing for these kids nowadays. It's just like, they see me as being young because I'm grown up.
Oh, you talking about his homeboys?
His homeboy. Oh my God, all of them try to follow me. And a lot of the stuff that I post, he's like, Mom, block it. He's like, I don't want them to see. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, block them. Yeah, he's like, I don't want them to see you twerking. I don't want to see you.
Cause he got a friend like me that tell you,
Boy, I say your mama throwing ass on Instagram.
Woo! It's a big thing. So
I share it.
I'm a single father too. I've been raising my son, and with him, he got friends. You know what I mean? And the boys that come spend the night, they call me call me pops, whatever. Like some of them follow me and say, I don't really mind that too much. But like the girls, nah, never that. I would never. That's just a bad look. Even with my son, we had different rules in the house being two men. You know what I mean? Like it was like I would tell him all the time, like be careful bringing girls in this house because ain't no woman in this house. You know what I'm saying? Anything ever happen in this house, nigga, it's only us. You know what I'm saying? We can't. It's a certain image. I can't have little young girls walking around my fucking house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? That's a bad look, especially being black. You know we don't play like that.
You got in 10 more years you probably can, but right now, no.
and then with this,
Yeah, 50, you be like, oh, that old nigga just in there. But like 40, you be out in the club singing and shit. Like, you be like.
So Tori, let me ask you a question. What do you think the factors are in the behavior of the children now versus our behavior? You know what I mean?
Well, right now they're just more exposed, meaning like whatever they do, they record it. One, my nephew got in trouble for fighting in the bathroom. They had a fight club, right? And somebody recorded it. That's how they got caught.
Told on
We
themselves.
would never. Not saying that the boys would never had fighting in the bathroom. They ain't recording that shit. Like some of the stuff that we did, they could never get away with because they're not even on the level to hide anything because they broadcast. They have a lot of documentation of their childhood right now because they put everything on. I'm going to get my nails done. They put it on social media. They save it, and they just in the limelight more. And then also like Sean said, the world has now taught them that it's about them. You can be whoever you want to be. Do you know what Gorilla said? Be who you want to be. Live how you want to live. I like that. So you can do all of that stuff, and then now that they're doing it, we like, dang, that ain't what we mean. We didn't mean you can be out here acting like you ain't got no home training, or you don't have any. We talked about it before on other episodes where they don't have the moral compass. Like now an old person on a bus, are they gonna move up out of their seat?
Facts.
So like
I'm a millennial.
But that's the stuff that we taught. We taught them, and I realized that now. I realized that kids don't have the same mannerisms. Or maybe it's because I'm from the Midwest or whatever, South or whatever. Like, yes ma'am, no ma'am. They calling people by their first name instead of sir, ma'am, or whatever, and that's just weird. I
That's
think
our fault.
That was
we
a
did
big
that.
thing.
We
My son
did
said
that,
yes
so
to
we
that.
stopped.
That's
we
our
stopped
fault.
telling them to have that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And
That's Mrs.
And I know
so-and-so.
And I know that it's hard because I've watched kids, and it's hard to continuously correct, and we give up on that. I think too early sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, he's got his own personality. We'll let them. They don't have to hug
The individuality
auntie,
shit,
cousin,
yeah.
or whatever, which is true because we just put barriers to protect our children, which
We the last
in turn
generations that got
eliminate-
whoopings for real.
limits
But
them.
I think that's what happened to us, though. I think
Do we need whoopings?
that's what I'm saying. I think that we said to ourselves, I'll never do this to my kid. I'll never let my kid do X, Y, Z. I think we gave them way too much. You got to think about it like, I ain't saying we should have, you know what I'm saying, not spoiled them, but you can spoil a kid rotten. You know what I mean? And I think we do that way too much, trying to get them shit we never had. You know what I'm saying? Even our behavior patterns, like you said with the respect thing, I think it's so odd because me and my son say, I love you all the time. His friends will see that shit and be like, the fuck? You know what I mean? That's weird to them. When he say yes ma'am, no sir, that's weird to them.
Well,
you know what
he
I'm
got
saying?
a daddy, so that's already weird.
But you know what I'm saying? But I'm just not watching my son. I'm watching all these
Everybody
kids. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm looking at them, I go to those games. They be talking about fucking, and the way they talk about it, we would have never talked like that when we seen grown
They're
people
so
around.
Oh,
us.
yeah.
But
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
also to our own detriment because I know I never told my mom anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I never told her anything because I was probably afraid how she was going to act about it. Like when I say nothing, I ain't never told her nothing. To this day, I ain't never tell her I was not a virgin no more. She just assumed.
She still think you ain't fucking.
I ain't never tell her. I ain't never
Yeah.
tell her. But I also was thinking a while back, and I said, you know how people say, oh, back in my day, I walked to school such and such many miles.
yeah.
Those people have children that walk less,
I was
less
just
distance.
thinking that.
So,
Exactly.
so it's because of the things that we went through, we build a generation that's softer and more cushioned than we are. So this generation is going to realize that this is not the way, and they're going to go back to our old ways.
Right.
They're going to
Beating
go
their
back,
kids.
and then we're going to have another generation of strong people like ourselves.
But I think that gap, and I agree with you because I think these phones changed everything. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we got a video. Can we play the video
love
of that the student?
I remember when my mama first came home with a cell phone.
Your mama
you mean?
came home
Yeah,
with the brick.
like nigga, nigga, what you mean with me? You older than me. It used to be a time niggas ain't really have cell phones like that, nigga. You had a house phone.
My mom always
Or a
had-
beeper or
had
some
that.
shit like that.
She had the beeper and the cell phone.
Yeah, my grandma
and the
came
car
home with a
phone.
Nokia from Metro PCS. I was like, damn, what is this? She said it's a cell phone.
But not necessarily the cell phones. I'm talking about more so the social media part of the phone.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think now they are so exposed. That's why I feel like the gap did change because, like you said, we getting softer. Every generation gets a little softer. They didn't just go from a little softer. They went from here to fucking.
They soft
here.
and
You know what I'm saying?
exposed.
I think
Right.
What's your
also
definition of softer, though?
Softer
That's
just
what I
means
want.
more privileged, more entitled, not wanting to work hard, just lazy, just
It's not
soft,
that.
just
It's not
emotionally
that. Maybe it's
fucked
not
up.
that they don't want to work hard. They don't have to.
Yes.
Because
Right.
remember when
Yes.
I had to do a damn book report. I had to take my ass to the library and get
And
the
do it.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
And I think what it is,
They
we
got
give
that
kids
still.
more
You went to school
during
choices.
slavery.
I think these
Too
days
many choices.
we give kids more choices.
Yeah, they do.
Also, perfect example with the food. What you want to eat? Back
Oh,
in the days,
yeah,
it was like, no, we eating this.
Whatever we drop.
It was
right.
never a choice.
You were hoping she cooked something good
Yeah,
that day.
like
To
for
be
real,
honest-
for real. We give kids choices, and I can say I am a person that I let my kid voice his opinion. I let my kid say how he feels. I'm a big advocate for that. It's because my mom wasn't that person that I can just say how I feel. Like, don't get me wrong, we had a great relationship. I was that person that when we got older, I could cuss in front of my mom. She would still say shit, but I'd be like, lady, come on now. But I love that she gave me that freedom. I love that she gave me that freedom to express myself. And I think it hinder us, but also make our kids who they are is because we give them so much fucking way. We give them so much leeway. What you want to eat? Oh, I want this. We're giving them a choice. It's like, no, you gonna eat this tonight.
Just was thinking like, man, I wish I could go back to the days where I woke up and I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen that day.
Yeah.
My
What's
mama,
going on?
my mama came in there and said, you know, that release of responsibility. You giving a child a choice that gives them responsibility immediately, right? So I wish I could just go back to, I woke up, my mama said, put some clothes on, and she said, let's get in the car. I didn't know where the hell I was going, but I had a great day that day.
Couldn't wait to be grown.
I had a great day. Right, but
It's good to give kids choices because it also allows for them to because also in the past what we were seeing is that we weren't allowing kids to have choices, and then they turned 18, they're
And we
like,
didn't
get
know
out of
what
my
to do.
house, and now
Yeah.
we have all these people experiencing homelessness. But when we start to give people choices or kids choices, and we allow them to start developing earlier, I feel like they just have a better chance.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the problems that the generation before the kids now is they didn't like to talk about feelings. And the reason why I say that is, like, I'm in therapy now to talk about like the childhood traumas that I went through. But when I try to sit down and talk to like somebody that probably caused that trauma, they don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
They shut that
Yeah,
shit down
they-
immediately.
yeah.
I had to do what I had to do to make sure.
But I think
no
we
accountability.
forget that, like you say, you're doing the best you can to your ability. And I really feel like I don't have any kids yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had my child and they said that I sucked at X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
I think that as now adults and we were raised in our households, we need to understand that they were doing the best that they could
Yes.
and accept that they did that.
And they were
now
learning.
it's no longer
all
about
they
them.
had, yeah.
It's about you healing from what they did because you can't take anything back.
And then we got to understand that our parents was learning when they were raising
Yep.
us. Like, for real, if you really think about how old your mom was when she had you. My mom had me when she was 21. Think about having a baby at 21 trying to take care of the kid. You know, it's just like, it's a lot.
Well, my
No.
grandma excuse. She had kids.
but the thing
Yeah.
is also,
But still, her trauma,
Yeah.
she probably did not identify her trauma. So she had all those kids, but she didn't know what the hell to do with those kids. She was just going about what she thought was right.
But
And we need to
again, the
understand
excuse,
that.
like, yeah, you putting out why she already had kids, but you won't. I don't feel like we will understand that unless you come to this realization until you have kids.
Yeah.
So once you have a child, you'll be like, dang, I gotta teach this mug to do. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
They don't even know how. They don't know nothing.
Nothing. They learning
Nothing.
themselves.
And it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
They
I
don't
think
know
I think
nothing.
what it is the thing about our kids now is the fact that us that have kids, they are actually the victims of our success.
That's what I'm saying. We failed them.
Because we it's kind of like one of those things, like, you know, what we went through, and we just like, you know what? I want my kid to live better than I did, and we do that, and they become soft. And then on top of it, and like I said, it's fine. That's fine as a parent, but the social media then reinforces it. Like I said, because a lot of times, if you got if you're going to buy laundry detergent, that's what any human with a human mind, you give a person too many choices.
Yeah.
They don't pick nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
You go to In-N-Out Burger, you know what you're going to
You
get.
know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But they have a
Too many choices,
limited
you don't
menu.
get nothing.
They got a
Yes,
burger and a
very.
fry on that motherfucker.
You're only gonna
That's
get a
it.
certain amount of choices.
Oh dang!
Like real
I ain't
stuff.
never. I don't really.
You got limited choices.
One thing I was telling Sean, we was talking, because me and Sean talk a lot about this topic, by the way, because we got boys and them niggas is wild. But they great kids. I ain't saying wild in a bad way. They bring up a lot of conversation. And one thing I told Sean is we have to stop comparing because it's not fair. We
Yeah.
can't do that because the world that they're in
It's
ain't even the same world we was growing in 20 years ago. It
It's
ain't
would've
the
so
been a
funny
TikTok
that you
star,
say
had that
that.
shit.
It's a completely different world.
My
That's why
son
we don't
tell
understand
me.
it.
My son tell me that all the time.
Yeah,
He'd be like,
and he
"Mom,
right.
don't compare." And he's right, and you're so right, and he's so right. But we have this thing where it's like our parents did it to us.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, Jimmy Stewart's not doing that, so why you ain't doing that? But then we gotta understand that ain't your son.
That's why I think over time
You
it's
know?
going to end up like Tori said. It's a roller coaster. It's going to do it, and it's going to come back. Then it's going to be a generation that's going to be just because
They'll adjust.
they'll adjust, and it's going to like almost like a market correction.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, that's what's gonna
kinda what it
happen.
is, because I guarantee you, if our parents had a podcast, we would solve the shit.
Right, on God. And can I tell you something though? And that's what I'm
Y'all go
saying.
to school?
I just think the drop off, but Sean, I'm gonna tell you this. I think the drop off is significant. And the reason I say that, if y'all ever watched that special on it was a documentary on Netflix called Our Social Dilemma, and it shows the rise in depression, the rise in anxiety and stress and suicide.
wait.
When I say this shit went from here to here,
It
in
went
like a
from
few
here to here
years,
because we became aware.
But this is the thing.
we the
Thank
ones
you.
that we on the list.
But can I say this? I can
the
say this
depression
though.
comes from us.
I can say this though. That chart, when social media went up, it went exactly the same, and it was almost
You know why?
alarming.
I'm gonna tell
and
you
it was
why.
perfectly aligned
I
with
believe it went.
suicide and social media.
I believe it went up because then you saw people who felt like you felt and validated
There you go.
speaking
Yes.
up. That's all that happened.
But-
and I bet you everybody on the list is our generation.
Let me show you
Also,
something real quick. Oh,
we
go
the
ahead.
one
Go
fucked
ahead.
up.
Go ahead
I was
real
just going to say, also, we have to realize that mental health is also a very new thing. People are just now able to say, like, yeah, I do have depression, or yeah, I do have anxiety, because as
Black people, that wasn't a thing growing up in our
You don't wanna
household.
say
You don't
that?
have depression, go ahead and sleep on it.
Right.
Pray on it.
So let me
If
say,
your ass
But
was
my
asleep,
thing
you
about it,
wouldn't be
I don't
tired.
I don't know if it's as like say with the mental health thing. Like I'm real into that.
yeah.
My thing about I don't think it's as much as people make it out to be. It's almost like the COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, COVID. Somebody coughed. Oh, I must got COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, so somebody was
Misdiagnosing,
Labeling.
misdiagnosing each other.
They
Oh my-
misdiagnosed each other. and be like,
It's
oh,
so funny.
I must got a mental illness too.
I'm glad that you said that because my son, I swear to God, a 15-year-old, he said the same thing. He was like, Mom, people don't suffer from depression. A 15-year-old, he was like, it's not depression that we're suffering from. I was like, what do you mean? You are depressed. If a person said that they're depressed, they're depressed. He was like, Mom, he was like, if you really think it's not, they're not depressed. And I was
If
like,
you
what
can
do you
say that
mean?
you're depressed,
He
you're
was like,
probably
you're
not.
saying
You're saying,
you're depressed.
yeah.
I was like, damn, I had to think about it.
Because you already
15-year-old,
acknowledge,
Mm-hmm.
like,
You're already saying it.
no,
because to me, I believe it's internal. Like
It
a lot
is.
of stuff for me,
Yeah.
I think like so the mental health thing, I think it's internal. You can't tell me that, oh, I'm depressed, but I can give you $1 million and all of a sudden you happy as fuck now.
right. But the thing, so the thing
outside
is,
force is not gonna do
Well,
it.
if
Change
I'm-
it.
Me being broke making me depressed, $1 million would.
And that's
will make you
subjective.
feel
It's
But
subjective.
conditional.
Everyone,
So I-
depression looks different to
okay.
everyone.
Right.
Millionaires can be
Yeah.
depressed. We've seen millionaires,
You
commit suicide all
Facts.
the
Kill
time,
themselves.
so-
I want to show y'all the stat real quick. Let me show you this stat real quick. I want to talk about this because it's funny you brought that up. The fact that we now know what mental health and all that kind of stuff look like. This right here is a graph and it's showing like everybody in this room, let's say that people have said, oh yeah, I suffer from depression. Out of 100% of the people who actually have signs of depression, only 9% of them have actually did something about it. Anxiety is only 4%. ADHD is actually 10% because like you said, it's new. So now people are actually starting to diagnose this stuff. They actually starting to get help for it.
Well-
But if you look at those percentages, it tell you everything you need to know. Now that we know better, we should be doing better, but we not.
because I'm gonna tell you right now, personal experience. Like after COVID and the reintroducing of like going around people, I had an anxiety attack. First off, I didn't know what the fuck happened. I was like, it was a lot of people. I had an anxiety attack. I had to calm down or whatever. But I've never been like that in front of people. And then I went and tried to do the process, see what the hell it was. It's a long process.
It is.
It's a long process, so it's very disheartening to call for an appointment in August and they say, hey, we ain't gonna be able to see you till November. Damn, if I wanted to go ahead and do something,
Yeah.
well, shit, you ain't gonna see me. And they said in November it's gonna be a video call. Now, how you know it's gonna be a video call come November? But anyway, so I'm still dealing with the process now. Apparently, and then to get the ADHD diagnosis, you have to go through all of the other stuff.
It's too much, yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
probably got that, but
Yeah.
I got to go through
That's
all
a
the
great
other
point.
stuff
Yeah.
to get to that point.
I think a lot of
You
stuff is
You in the
connected.
90%.
A lot of stuff is connected because you also got like with the pills, they want to prescribe you something.
Yeah.
I'm
Like I
on
said,
a
it's
little
almost
something.
I said,
I'm on a
that's
little
why I
something,
kinda-
I'll tell you.
A lot of times, like I said, I relate it to the COVID because you got people that are screaming mental health just to get some days off work.
Yeah.
Same what you was doing with COVID.
I need a mental day.
You're like, oh, I need a mental
that's
day.
my
nephew. My
But I
nephew
think
asked for one.
but that
Days
is
one.
okay. I feel like having mental health days should be a thing in work because in
I agree.
previous generations we're taught to work to death, do all this stuff for these jobs that
Yeah.
don't care
Care
about
about-
us, and
yeah.
we're not taking care of our mental health. But
I
when we
agree.
have those mental health days, I feel like that's good. Even if you want to just go sit by the pool, I feel like that's
Something that you
But-
should do.
but this
Take
is-
a mental health
I
day
agree.
to run in.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not mental.
You're
Well,
supposed to take the
but the
time
thing is,
off.
these.
How many people take their days off responsibly?
Not even
Nobody.
only that,
I
we're
don't
working.
get my hair done.
Think about it.
Also,
My
too-
dad,
I go get my hair done.
That's what I'm saying.
But we don't understand that we're working for people that we don't want to work for.
We
So if you
don't.
want to
They
take
don't
a
care about
mental,
us.
exactly. So if you want to take a mental health whatever, I think you should be able to take a mental health whatever.
Facts.
Do you
I-
let your children do that?
Oh, I would. Like
My nephew asked his mom, "I need a mental health day. I
So
don't
if my
want to go
son
to
say,
school."
"Mom, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling today. I want to take off," I will let him do it.
Yeah.
Let me ask
Let
you.
him
Once
see-
again,
let
how,
me
ask you this
how,
question.
to me, how does that impede success?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Where is the balance?
That's
You know
what-
what I'm saying? That's the
exactly.
biggest thing that I wonder, like, between the balance between spoiling our kids and beating the shit out of them. You're like,
The
they
balance
have to be-
is for me.
You know what I mean?
The balance is you've been going. So I don't let my son. If he ever tells me, "Mom, I don't feel like going," whatever, I'm not gonna always let him take off. But
Exactly,
if
yeah.
if he lets me know,
Push
like,
through.
"Mom, I really ain't feeling it," or whatever, and I feel it in my son, because you know your kid.
Yeah.
You know when your kid is feeling a certain way. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, we gonna do what we gotta do. We'll go to the beach. We'll go
Yeah.
take a walk. We'll go
Because
to the
that-
park
I
or
feel like
something.
it also starts at a very young age too. What we aren't doing is teaching our kids emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Teaching them how to express their emotions, how to identify, like, okay, I'm feeling this feeling in my stomach because I am anxious, or I'm feeling like this because I am this. Like, we aren't teaching kids that at a young age, so that when they are getting to high school,
They don't know
can
how to
say,
communicate.
Mom, I'm not all
there.
I'm not all there right now.
Also,
Like,
too,
I
in the
need a
black
day to
community,
myself.
we never did that.
Exactly.
We never
Well,
I
did
just feel like they
that.
need
It's a
to,
new learned thing.
learn how, like I said, the intelligence of how to use it. Like I said, to me, with say, like when we talk about the mental health days, like only doing stuff when you feel like it will not lead to success. You damn sure
Facts.
gonna be anxious and depressed at
Yeah.
40, 45
It's
years
the
old
work through.
when you ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
every rich, successful person do shit when they don't got to do it. If I want to go to the gym and have a six pack, I can't just go on the days that
You
I
can't,
feel like going.
because you ain't
Yeah.
gonna go
Let me-
but one day
Yeah.
a week, baby.
Let me-
Yeah.
Talking about me?
Let me read something for y'all real quick, man. Okay, so this quote that I have says, there are many reasons that a child's behavior can escalate. It said it may be that he or she is becoming increasingly frustrated and simply doesn't know how to express it. You may also find that after thinking it over, that it is your own reactions to your child that is contributing to the intensity of their behavior.
Right.
I feel like
So you
my
can't
behavior
yell at
intensified when I was a teenager because I didn't respect my parents.
That's deep.
And I didn't respect them based off like decisions they made that got me to like
Living with your
that got us to where we at.
Yeah.
So it's like, how the fuck you gonna tell me about something when you ain't doing it? Like, I ain't talking about like when you were younger. I'm talking about when you're all width of knowledge where you at now.
Yeah.
What you telling me you're not actively doing it at all.
What's that saying? Do as I say, not as
Not
I
as
do.
I do as I
Boy, they
say.
was saying that
Yes.
like a mother.
But see, back then we didn't understand, and we just kind of was like, okay. Now, again, haha.
I think
They
that-
know they ain't got to do that.
I think that also comes about with people that are not raised with either a mother or a father. Like, perfect example, my son. He's gonna see the reality what his dad doing when he get older. He's gonna see it for himself. So seeing it for
Oh,
yourself,
you know now.
he knows now.
You know now.
No, he knows now. But when you get to see it for yourself when you older, it's much different.
Yeah.
You respect it a little bit more. You honor it a little bit more. And I'm so not a baby mama. And when I say baby mama, I'm not a woman that ever talks bad about my son's dad.
The bitterness.
I'm not
Yeah.
that woman to ever put a dim light on my son's dad, because you're going to see it for yourself.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part.
And that's the crazy part. And you never, I think that's why people don't understand when I say I'm rare. I'm very rare. I'm not a baby mama. I ain't gonna press you. I ain't gonna, you know what you should be doing when you got a seat. And as a black woman, I wish he was in my child life. And I wish everybody was in my child life, his family. But in the same sense, I'm not gonna pressure you to do nothing that you don't want to do. And for me, I don't hold a grudge
Right.
at all for it.
But what do you think your son will say when he realizes that you didn't press the issue?
I
You
want
gave
him-
up.
I didn't give up.
You know,
That's-
he might think that. Not
So-
saying that he might, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, no, that's,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that. I want him to see it for himself and understand that mommy loves him. And it's not about always the perception of what other people may think your dad should be. It's what you want the reality to be, and you need to see it for yourself and know that I love you. And
Yeah.
I'm the one that's gonna build you up to be the man that you are, and make sure that whatever woman you get with, I did my part.
Right. So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
How,
go
how long did it take you to get? I'm in a very, very similar situation. My son hasn't talked to his mom in years. I can't even remember when. And I understand everything you're saying right now. How long did it take you to get to that point, though?
Oh, it's still taking me.
Okay.
It's still taking me. Perfect example is I just had to give my son his passport, and I was doing all kind of obstacles. I called his mom, and his mom was like, yeah. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna call his dad. Call his dad. His dad picked up the phone. I was like, thank you, Jesus. I was like, we were looking for you. You know, and he was like, well, what do you need? I was like, well, I need your signature to get
yeah.
your son's passport. And my whole thing is communication. I did not make him feel like, nigga, where you been?
Right.
What you doing?
Right.
Like, why you haven't talked to your son? For me, it was more like, I need you right now. And I
Yeah.
need you to help me with your son.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah. That's not bad.
I'm just not with. I guess I'm a little different, and because I be understanding these young heads when it come to their parents. 'Cause I don't give. Excuse my French. I don't give a fuck about nobody in my family, to be honest. Simply because, and it make my heart race because like, these niggas put me through the ringer, bro. And it was like, for what, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But we getting an authentic you, though.
You feel me? But it's like the thing is, my problem. I feel like I was too smart for the situation I was in. I'm different than everybody in my family. Everybody in my family had some type of addiction. If it wasn't like fucking drugs, women, or some sort like that, I'm the only nigga that like just doing regular shit. So it's like niggas to this day, niggas be like, they don't call me Joe, they call me by my real name, but they be like, oh, this nigga think he better than everybody else. I don't think I'm better than everybody else. My real name, all right, I'm gonna say my real name.
What is it?
My real name is LaDarren DeMoro Morris. That is my real name.
The full government.
That is a Florida name.
That is
Mario. Florida
LaDarren DeMoro Morris is my name.
Well, they
All
named
right.
If you call me that, I'm gonna ignore the fuck out you.
Well, you
But
sound like you run fast.
my
as
problem
hell.
is, bro, like realistically, I as I got older, I started did think some of the things that my parents were telling me was truthful. They just didn't know the way of articulating it simply because they was never exposed to it. Yeah. So it washed off the hate a little bit. Like, well, I never hated my parents, but like dislike of my parents. I still don't fuck my daddy. Like, I'm just sorry. That's just
I
the
don't
way the
want
cookie
that for
crumbles.
my son. It's so sad. It's just like, and it's so sad because it's like I don't want that for my son because I know how good of a person he was. Yeah, addiction and mental health fucked him up, but it's like I know the real him. So it's just like I want my son to experience that part of his dad, and I think that's why I keep it away. Not keep it away, but that's why I do not express a negative entity towards his dad is because I know the real person he is, but I know mental health and drugs is a lot in our community. And I think when people like you can really, shut up, when men like you can really express how they feel and say, this is the way I am and this is why I am like this towards my family is because of this. Because I can respect that because when my son get older and to your age, you know, I want him to express himself like you, but I want him to also know that I love him. I don't care about what everybody else.
Bro. Like kids, bro, I'm gonna say I'm a kid since I ain't never been a parent, always been a kid.
Understand.
Bro,
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
kid. What's up, kid?
I was a kid. You know what? It's like a nigga know what's up, bro. Like I knew who was there. I knew like when it comes to like a lot of people in my family be like, now that I'm successful, they like, oh, I helped raise you. No, you didn't. My grandma did.
Wait,
she
hold
may
on.
not did the best fucking job, but my grandma. The reason why me and my grandma, I hold her so near and dear, cause one, she was done raising kids by the time I was born, and then two, for her to work 2 jobs and just to take care of me, and I'm a smart ass. You know what I'm saying? I respect her for that. I don't like some of the things she did, but I think the healing process with me and my grandma is when I got a little older and I was like outgrown by this time, and I sat her down and I told her like these things that you did, I understand that you did the best that you could do, but these things hurt me and it had a lingering effect. For my grandma to sit there in her 60s and be like, you know what, I fucked up, I apologize, I should never did those things. Yeah, my grandma's still alive. That's my dog.
Joey, for what I was saying earlier, for somebody like you, right? When you do become a father, I'm gonna tell you right now, man to man, on camera, you're gonna be a hell of a father.
Yeah.
And that's
Appreciate
only
it, dog.
because I
think you'll be a
know
good
that you can take what you have experienced and put that into yours. And like I was saying earlier, we the type of people, I'll never let my child do this. I'll never do this to my child. So the way people treated you, and like you said, you will never do your
do that
child like
again.
that. You know
I
what I'm
would say
saying?
your child gonna be rotten.
And that's the problem and that's that's another thing that like that bothered me the most
Because you're
growing
gonna
up,
take the
bro.
opposite of the spectrum.
That's the shit that bothered me the
That's
most.
what-
That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's why my
been
son
doing.
is the way he is. And if you guys ever look at my social media, me and my son be at it. I call it Majestic and Mommy Chronicles, and I let him be him. I be damn near want to beat his ass.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, I let him be him. I let him do him. I let him express himself, and I express myself. You know, I'm not a gentle parent. I'll call him a little fucker. call him a little loser,
Mm-hmm.
but he know that. He know that
Term and endearment.
it's a turn and a
It's so
different.
fun.
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
he
fun,
ain't a
like-
loser.
like you got
he
him
my
15,
loser. Yeah, right.
You got him at 15, you got 16, 17, I got 19.
Yeah,
And it's so fun around this age because you can actually see who they going to become.
Like, the
you know what I'm saying?
personality is there.
My son's
Yeah.
personality is so damn big, man. Like, the dude an idiot, man. That dude be having me cracking up. He send me stuff, memes all day, every day. Joy, I want you to finish your point. But before we keep going, man, I got to give a shout out to Tay, man. Shout out to Hookah Tay in the building, man, right there,
got the
man.
hookah on deck.
Providing the hookahs. We got the hookahs out here, man. Got it popping in this bitch. I want to give a shout out to High Angle, man. High Angle in the building. Shout out to Dream Radio 649, man. Delivering real entertainment and music. You know what I'm saying? We in
Yes.
this thing.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Red Cup Gang. Got my jacket on, man. Red
Yes.
Cup Gang in the building, man. We doing it like that.
Get it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Ball, man. Right now, I'm down here at Mission Valley Mall at the Red Cup Game, man. I have to go see my boy get my jacket together, man. You know what I'm saying? He keep me tight. So check this out. I need y'all to come down here whenever y'all get a chance to get y'all something. Real deal. Indica Live will be back. One of our sponsors right here, man. We love to have you. Love working with him, man. Love wearing the gear. Everything like that. So y'all make sure y'all come down here and check him out.
And y'all know, you hang, we don't done.
Just like that.
Now, what you say?
Oh,
Boogie?
Lord, you got me on
I
the.
said it's a pretty cool dynamic having a single dad, single mom, and me being married. I've been married 19 years. So we raised all our kids together. And so, like I said, when we talk about how they've changed, it's more like they see me and his mom working hard, going to work every day, doing the stuff that we do. And we be like, when they do something questionable, we be like, where you get that from?
And it's funny that you said that because I have a friend. It's just like you, both parents in the home, and her son is a ruckus. And I'm like, girl, hi here, y'all, you got mama and daddy, and it's just me. And I swear, my son, I don't want to curse myself, but I have a 15-year-old that's not really into what the 15-year-olds are today. He into bitches. He into bitches.
Not bitches, that's 15.
Yeah, he's into females.
Yeah.
But he's also into doing his wrestling. He loved wrestling.
That's what's
he
up.
loved doing his like.
He be working out.
Yeah.
He trying to keep what's
15
getting the
working
bitches.
Yeah, so
Man,
I
you know-
the only thing I gotta worry about him is jacking off.
Can I say something?
Oh,
You
my
ain't gotta worry
God.
About that, let that happen.
Let that
freely.
nigga beat his
I'm okay
niece.
with that.
That's the
I'm
best
okay
thing
with
that can happen to him, I
It's free
promise.
for me. I'd rather you find
That's
yourself
birth
in
control.
the
I told you, that go back to the
anybody
Simpson
else
pimps.
There you go. I'm gonna tell y'all this though, man. It's so funny listening to their relationship problems. This is the biggest one I'm noticing now that they at this age. I never remember talking like that, like about a woman. Like
Yeah.
they so mature with the
Yeah.
relationships.
Yep.
My son
Yes.
arguing with his ex the other day, right? He says
my
this,
God.
and I'm in tears laughing when he said it. He said, "What you say? You ain't thinking enough to be talking to me like that." When I tell you, when I tell you,
Pippin ain't easy.
She called him a bitch, some kind of like, you know,
Right,
we don't do that
yeah.
word like
Right,
that,
yeah,
you know?
wrong, yeah, wrong.
Like, that's my trigger word too. So it's kind of his too. He was like, Pops, you got to realize she's a mean person. And I was
yeah.
like, damn, in my mind,
These kids
his
are
mama
very
was a mean
upfront.
person.
You know
You know
what's
what I'm saying?
crazy? Remember when I met you, I used to call your son the baby?
the baby. Now he got all of this.
Ain't no baby.
He be doing all like this. Now he got her right here.
See?
Yeah, he be doing his
I was
thing,
like,
don't he? He can't at karaoke.
Not the
I want to.
baby.
I want to look. I
That's just
I
like
wanna
my
look,
son.
yeah.
He's 15.
Listen,
He's about to
listen.
be. He's 5'9". I'm 4'11".
That's a
So-
big,
These
big
kids are
15.
grown.
man.
Yeah.
They be coming into
Yeah.
my therapy sessions, and the stuff that these
What they
13,
be-
14,
you can't say-
15-year-olds come in and talk about, I'm like,
Sheesh.
sound like you paying bills,
Yes.
right?
Kids
They're
probably
talking
is.
about relationships,
Yeah.
the struggles that they're
Right.
going through, the issues with their parents,
Yeah.
their trauma, like
Oh
all
my
of
gosh.
that.
You be thinking
So
like,
I ain't got no
oh,
kids, but I do got nieces and nephews that's like early 20s or they late teens.
I'm grown.
Yeah, I mean,
And they talk
still
to you
teenage-
openly because you
Yeah, they talk to me
yeah.
openly because I'm like the closest one. In
You the
age.
cool.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
cool
Uncle.
uncle. And I called my niece came in, she flew in, she's like, oh, I want to come spend time with you and auntie. I'm like, come in, you know, she got a little boyfriend. And I'm in the other room. And she just going the fuck off. So now I'm alert because my niece is going off on some boy on the phone.
Oh, yeah. Who was that?
So
Right.
I'm like, what's going on? And she told me what he said, what happened. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's not that serious. So I had to have a conversation with her on how to communicate with your spouse. I'm like, this, like, as in, like, it's not her spouse, but like eventually.
Yeah.
she gonna want one.
Emotional
And
intelligence.
I'm like, let me tell you something.
yeah.
Just because you could easily get your point across by saying what you need and feel without all those extra theatrics. Because if the roles were reversed and he was talking to you that way, I'd be going to Atlanta and beat this boy ass. You got to understand, abusive behavior is abusive behavior regardless of who it is.
Of the
Facts.
gender.
And you have traits. And I know your mama. Your mama beat niggas.
See,
that's-
a lot of girls,
it's
but then a
important
lot
that
of
you- it's
a lot
important
of
that you
young
chastise
girls
that.
need
That's what I'm
guys like
saying,
you
yeah.
though, because
They won't know the
for
difference.
me, I had my older cousins, and I grew up with a lot of dudes. So when dudes be trying to run game on me, I be just looking back at them like,
Why you
yeah,
looking
dude.
back at 'em?
I look back
Yeah,
at them
just
like,
stop.
shut up, only you. But I look back at them like, what the hell? So it's always good to have a cousin, uncle, or someone that can give them that information because they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna get it from, like you said, their mama that's gonna wild out or whatever. So
My niece will tell you, she said, I get my game from my uncle because they know me for being outside. They're like, that little nigga be outside. He used to find me.
He outside,
That boy was outside.
Outside
How
all
you
the
know her
time.
mama? I don't know. I didn't even know she had kids.
But y'all talk. I was just hearing you guys. Y'all talk about their relationships, and I'm sure they go through breakups in high school and all that stuff.
Crazy.
That's completely different from what we experience because of the social media, and everybody
Yes.
knows what they got
Yes.
going on. So I imagine that will be the day when they ask for a mental health day.
No, the
Yeah.
thing is,
Like,
Yes.
I ain't
the
trying
thing
to go to
is,
school.
we only had at school boyfriends and girlfriends.
I didn't have
These
none.
niggas got bitches come to the house
From LA.
LA.
Yeah.
Girls in LA, yeah. Let's talk.
yeah.
Like it's different.
And you know what's crazy? It was a young
Call the
man.
house phone and hang up when my mom if my mama
Facts.
answer.
It was a young man that was in here today, and he was talking about he was getting his hair done. The big guy, the big young guy that was just here.
Nigga, I saw
He was
all
telling,
over.
yeah, he was telling, yeah, he was
braids?
telling everybody
With the
that this
braids?
girl was taking him out.
Oh yeah, he was
Right?
saying
Remember that?
Yeah.
I hear that. Your son, my
sir.
son, these girls be like, yeah, let me take you out.
Yes, sir.
I never in
your
high
game
school.
wasn't tight.
No.
That's when you pat
It's so
yourself on the back.
common. It's so common, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they was like, I keep seeing on social media, yeah, this generation of men want you to chase them and all that kind of stuff. I'll be like, who they
And
talking
dude,
about?
no.
And they do.
Chasing
And then
mine.
I'm not
Come on.
realizing.
They do.
I
It
just
ain't
don't
me,
talk.
right?
Can I
And
say
they
something
do.
real quick about
They
that?
chasing mine.
It's not a
They
problem
chasing mine,
because
right.
I want to be chased too.
No.
let me
Hell
let me
no.
finish.
She said no.
Let me finish.
Hell no.
I don't
Let me
mind
finish.
doing a
When I
little
say
chasing.
chase, I
Yeah.
want you to show common interest.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That I
spit-
can understand, but it gotta be 50-50 though.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, some women.
Jesus.
I ain't gonna say all. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
out of the point of giving absolutes.
Oh,
Okay,
you
go ahead.
can't do that. Yeah, you can't do
Okay,
I
that.
want to give absolutes.
Yeah.
But most women, when they want you to do all the chasing and then don't want to show that reciprocation of life.
Right.
Like I'm not going around spending my money on every chick I take a date on. If
Yeah.
I took you somewhere and spent money on you, that's because I genuinely see something in you. But if you're not giving
Well,
me that shit back,
Yeah.
one of my love languages is words of affirmation.
Right.
If you can't give me no type of fucking affirmation, I'm gonna think you don't fuck with me, and I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
you alone.
I think what's happening with our younger men now, like again, they have so much access to the information that tradition is falling by the wayside now.
I hate that.
And tradition has a lot to do with a man being a provider, protector, and all that. That's what we were told we had to do. But then, like you be saying sometimes logically, they like, wait a minute, so I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and all I get is this. Logically, to them,
All I get
doesn't
is
make
pussy
any
and a baby.
sense.
Don't
You know
make
what I'm
no
saying?
sense.
To them, it just doesn't make any sense. And I can't speak to that because I wasn't raised like that.
I
I
wasn't
feel
either.
weird when a woman pull a water out around me. I'll be like, nah, you can't.
I don't.
You know what
So
I'm saying? No, but that's what I'm saying. I
You
wasn't
better take
raised
me
like
out
that, though.
today.
No, like the first date is always on me.
Right.
The first series of dates is always on me. But after a while, we done been together, you be like, oh, I got this. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's
After
different.
a while,
All
the
of
way-
it-
the way
that's
you think,
different.
yeah.
though.
That's what I'm saying. But like
Yeah.
first couple
That's
dates,
different, though.
I would never let a
Yeah.
female baby
Well-
for a first date.
Ladies in the room, when's the last time you took a gentleman on a date?
The last time that I took maybe like a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah?
If I'm
Yeah.
like consistently seeing somebody, like I'll take someone on a date. I'll
Yeah.
pay
What's up?
attention to the things you like,
Yes.
the food
That's
you
good.
like.
But then you
Like-
understand, when you are a
Steven said,
mature
okay.
woman, it's okay with taking
Yeah.
dudes
I don't think
on a
anything's
date.
wrong with that.
I think even if you want to go Dutch on the first date, I'm okay with that. You just need to express that.
I don't know how I feel about
I'm
that
okay.
one.
You
If
just-
I
you
say
need
that I'll go
to-
Dutch on the first date,
You
that's
need
how
to-
you know you're not going to.
So-
That's what I mean.
When
I
I
don't think
go
you
out
like
of-
me. If you pay for your stuff, I
It's
don't think
okay.
you like
If
me.
I
if
don't.
I don't pay for
And I
your
don't.
shit on the first date,
Because-
I don't like
I
it.
If
don't.
a woman offered, if a woman like, nah, I got my
No,
own.
I
In
agree
my mind,
with-
she don't want to lead you on.
So
I'll leave the tip.
Yeah.
I'll leave the tip.
No.
You
That's
pay
what-
and
that's
I'll
what
leave
I'm
the
thinking.
tip.
I agree
I'll
with
leave the
all
tip.
of
You
it.
just like, hey, bro,
But this
you
day
know
and
what?
age, you gotta be,
But
you
But I
gotta
think-
be realistic.
I think
Pull
whoever
a coupon out.
invites,
Pull a Groupon out. And
That
that's how you get a
part.
ring. That's what my wife did.
That
Hey,
part.
That's how you get that ring.
Groupon.
That's how you get the ring.
Yeah.
Pull out. We eating.
Yep.
She was like, oh, hold on, boo. Watch this.
I got a discount.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
You know how I got
That's
Marissa?
how-
That's how you get down.
I'm
on
gonna tell you
one
how
knee.
I got Marissa.
What you
That's
did?
how you do it.
I had me and her were just like, percolating, talking and shit. After a while, I started learning what type of like food and shit she liked. So I cooked all the food that she liked, and we went to this little park, and we sat there and talked.
Exactly.
You took her on the outing.
For the free
See,
shit.
and then
Hold on.
people don't
I
understand.
had food stamps at the time, nigga. We were eating dead good.
That was
that's
during
good.
COVID, huh? You had them COVID food stamps.
crab legs.
You was eating
No,
lobster.
She said she liked the crab
Men
legs.
does-
Man-made crab
Mac
legs.
and
tap
cheese.
tap. Men don't understand. Women don't always need to go out. You take me on a date like
Wait
that,
a minute.
free
Oh,
date.
we about to get off topic.
You
We are-
take me on
We
a
about to-
picnic
we are about to
and we
ask.
just chill and do some stuff like that. That's good.
You gonna get 9 times out of 10 you gonna get some
But
coochie.
from a generational standpoint,
I'm about to say,
that
it's
don't
like,
really
come
matter
on.
no more because
I'm about to
they
say,
don't have like my sisters had like Lauryn Hill and TLC telling you was pretty and you know what I'm saying, and she had like Queen Latifah. You know they had.
got Lizzo.
Now they got who they
Yeah.
got?
Lizzo.
Who they got?
City girls.
City Girls.
Hold on now.
Who else they got?
Lizzo.
They got Cardi.
Real ass bitch,
Y'all
give a
ain't
fuck
gonna
about a nigga.
acknowledge
Big Birkin bag,
They
cold
got-
five,
they got
six
Lizzo.
hips.
Yeah, okay. I
They got
was say
Lizzo.
y'all better acknowledge Lizzo.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's almost like he took you to Applebee's. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like
You
that's
deserve
like
better than that.
yeah. I ain't no Applebee's bitch. What? Like
Hey, to be honest, and those are the women. I ain't gonna say bitch. I'm trying to get out of that too. But those are the women that I leave alone. And the reason why my fiance gets like anything she pretty much asks for is because like one, she held me down when I didn't have the means to get her the shit.
gangster.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't make me feel like I was less than any type of man because I couldn't get it to her then. But it just like her just being like open
all
to
right.
anything that I offer. As long as I offer love and respect,
Yeah.
anything else I added to her was a plus. And shit like that meant a lot to me when I was dating.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of women like, yeah, I don't. If we ain't going here, you don't really like me and da da da. But
Was it an age gap in those women? Did you ever look at that?
no, now I normally date older women.
Okay.
When I dated older women, it was always smooth because I got an old spirit. I got very traditional values. But as soon as I start dating women that's like probably like 5 years younger than me or some shit like that, it is a complete fucking.
I feel like they
Is it
are
going
less
off of social
understanding.
media?
You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're less understanding of circumstances.
Oh, they're so less
I think they are less.
It's no empathy.
Empathy. I was going to say they're not empathetic to anything.
Because
like,
it's about
I lost my
themselves.
job one time and I was so scared to tell Marissa. I was so scared based on previous situations.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
And I was so scared. And when I came home, she like, what you doing home so early?
huh?
Like, shit, and it wasn't my fault. I got laid off. Like a lot of people getting laid off. I got laid off. She said, "Don't worry about it, babe. We got it. I got the money." And that shit fucked me up for 2 days
Right.
because I was sitting there like, "Damn, she really." That made me want to like get on my shit and like.
She really fucked
yeah,
with you.
She really fucked with me, and I'm gonna get on my shit
Yeah.
and make sure she's straight. And it,
So-
working out, but
I think a lot of guys now are scared of that commitment, and I think that's where that whole chase come from. I think dudes don't understand when they talking to a real woman. Perfect example is just dating these days. It's just like they either thinking you playing or they don't know. They're used to the young
Quick-
girls,
quick
or
money,
quick,
quick-
or
I'm saying money, but you know
yeah,
what I'm talking
exactly. And it's just like a lot of women are not out there for that. Like, don't get me wrong, I am looking for a husband, but I ain't looking for a husband.
I get that. I felt that when you
Yeah.
said it.
You know?
You felt that
Yeah,
so
I
quick.
did
like
in
I'm
my
serious.
spirit.
It's just like for me, it's just like I want to be happy. I'm not looking for
sound like
something
me.
that because when you're looking for a
wanna be happy.
husband, it's like, oh, I gotta find this guy. No, I'm not looking for that. I want to be happy. I want to be me. I want to be able to do this. I don't want somebody to try to trap me or
Wish
do
your husband
anything
would be
like
outside
that.
mad because you doing a podcast. But,
There's really people out
Yeah,
there like
exactly.
that,
And
though.
then be
There's
really
people
be-
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like so it's
That's
I
what I
don't
know.
want that.
Yeah.
And when you don't I have not been in a relationship for 5.5 years, so it's like the freedom it makes you feel like
Can you do me a favor though?
what's that?
Whenever that time comes and a young man gets you to be in a relationship, please release all the single habits. You know, cause you gotta let go of some of that independence. A lot of times, like my fiance was single for a while too, so a lot of shit she wouldn't allow me to do because she's so used to doing it.
Yeah.
And we used to butt heads because I'm like taking out the trash. You would not touch the fucking trash anymore.
And
In
I'm
my
okay
house,
with
but
that.
we argue.
And I'm okay with that. But that's the thing is you need to sit down and communicate that.
That's
And
what
I'm
I'm
okay with that. I am okay with letting a man lead. I am okay with letting a man be a man. My thing is, are you ready to lead? are you ready to lead? And a lot of these men are not ready to lead.
Hell no,
And
but
I
I'ma
need a
try,
leader.
though.
Well,
I need a
People act
leader.
like they are leaders
I
if
need
they're
a
not.
fucking
Okay, well,
leader.
I got a question for the group though. So we talking about how relationships and everything's going. We got all this wisdom and advice. So I want to know, like, what advice would you give to yourself as a young kid,
Adolescent.
adolescent?
If you can go back in time
if you
and
can
give
go back
yourself
and tell
any
yourself
advice,
some
what would
advice.
Oh,
Me, wait.
And when we talking about remember the
Wait.
topic we talking about, we failed this generation. So in relation to that, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Wait.
Having respect for myself.
And me, wait.
When kids don't have both parents or just aren't taught, like you said, kids know nothing. So if you're not taught how to have respect for yourself, you're not taught how to carry yourself, what to look out for, predators, these grown men preying on children.
Facts.
Give it.
Grown, yes,
Women and men.
Brittany
grown
Renner.
women, yes. Let's highlight that because that's not
Yeah.
said enough. Grown women, men preying on kids, teaching my kids those signs, and having respect.
So you would tell yourself, respect yourself. Yeah.
respect yourself and be aware of
Yeah.
certain things.
That's what's
like,
up.
Predators. Yeah.
And mine would be wait. And when I say wait, just wait in general. Don't take it too fast. I think starting a relationship young hinders a lot of kids. I started a relationship at the age of 19. And I really don't think that people realize that you have not found yourself at 19. So I think if you still date. I think people take dating and a relationship and they get that misconstrued. I think if you learn how to date and date people and get to know people instead of saying I'm with this one person and I'm just going to be with this one person, you don't find yourself. So I say wait and have your options open and date.
Yeah. Joey?
We talking about like give your younger self like advice
Yeah.
for dating?
No,
I thought it was
just
it's
a younger
generational
generation.
to
Oh,
improve
okay.
the generation.
Okay. What I would tell my younger self is it's gonna be all right. As in, cause like y'all know my story. I was homeless my senior year of high school, so it's like senior and junior year of high school, and sometimes like now I think about where I'm at in life now. I be thinking like, damn, I was just a kid in a park, and during those times I used to be like, this is gonna be my life. You know what I'm saying? This is just gonna be who I am. And like, so like if I could go back to that park and like talk to myself, like, my nigga, it's gonna be all right. And all this shit that you going through right now is gonna be a memory.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be doing some of the things that I always told myself I want to have a radio show. I always want to be on TV. I always want to be on a movie. And I have gotten to achieve those things. So it's like, damn, it hits me sometimes when I sit down and think about it because I really, like, I didn't know nothing about mental health, but I definitely attempted. Like, I had like situations going on in my head. You feel me?
Do you think that would have shaped you differently?
What's that?
Just you think you telling yourself that would have just shaped you differently, like your
Yeah,
path?
because my problem was I didn't have the love. Like that was my issue. I didn't have the love and support. So if it would have been like someone to come to me and like showed me like love and support, I found love and support through my friends' families, like my homeboys' moms and my homeboys' aunties.
I think everybody should have a mentor.
They definitely like they rolled for me since like the beginning.
But let me ask you this: do you think you strive in fear? What I say that because of this. You accomplished all the shit you said you was going to accomplish by never telling yourself it was going to be all right. So what if you would have told yourself it's going to be all right, and you just went through life carefree because you already knew it was going to be all right?
Well,
Maybe you wouldn't have pushed yourself so
That's
much.
not how I am. Because
Do you work your best when you backed into a corner?
yeah,
So that's
Then that's what
probably-
I'm talking about.
That would have had you like.
I get shit popping.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
response to it.
Yeah,
That's what I mean, though. By you not knowing it was gonna be all right, you pushed yourself. You feel what I mean? And you got out of all that shit, all them family curses that you talk about. You got out of all of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That shit tough, bro.
You know what I mean, though?
And it took me working on that shit once I got with my fiance because she's like so fucking like loving. She had a big ass family, all this other shit. So like a lot of shit. That's what made me go to therapy. Was being with her. I had never thought about going to therapy
Love that.
Yeah.
until I met Marissa. And
So
then I
you in
started-
that small percentage that we
Yeah,
saw.
I started being like, when I started being around, I'm like, I'm fucked up. I gotta be fucked up.
Mm.
So I started to go get the help, and then since then, like I feel like I'm a better friend.
That's
I feel
wit's
like
up.
I'm
Life changing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's-
That is so awesome.
when
just
you
to
meet
hear
somebody
that.
that's healed,
Yeah.
that shit rub off.
I put on Facebook the other day. I was like, I feel like I overcame my traumas simply because like I don't live in them bitches no more. Like
That's what's
okay,
up.
my life was like fucked up when I was younger, but my shit lit now.
That's what's
I
up,
see
man.
it. So it's like that's
Good shit.
I didn't start understanding mental health until after my mother passed away, and I had to deal with. So my mom passed away in July of 2018. My mom passed away. I was going through a breakup with my son, dad, but he was battling mental health and also drugs. And then I had a miscarriage. So I was battling all that in 2018, and it really made me think like, damn, people really be battling mental health. Like, I had to look at it in a different way, as in he was only on drugs is because he was trying to cope with the trauma he did not deal with when he was younger. And people don't deal with their trauma from young or back in the days, and it stems from like what you were saying. It's just like now you're older and you're going to therapy, you can realize what's going on in your life. And it gets to a point where it's like, where do we go and find mental health? And I'm working in the mental health school, so it's crazy. You don't understand it until you're in it, and you're like, damn, mental health is real.
Yeah.
It's real.
And like you said, it's not new, but for us to discover it is new. And we trying to just, man, we learn it just like we learning on the fly, man.
Cause I told my
Boogie-
grandma she was depressed, and she I ain't depressed.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
grandma, you been alive since Jim Crow.
Wow.
That alone
Right.
itself may need a little therapy.
Yeah.
You was in the
Right.
great depression.
And you a black woman.
Yeah.
That's some more shit.
Yeah.
You're like,
For real.
you need to go talk to somebody.
How old is your grandma?
So Boogie, let me ask you, bro. Like, if you could go back, just talking about this generational gap that we have, what would you had told yourself?
Just go for it, man.
Yeah.
Like for me, I think part of my path, it was real. It was like I had a real, I guess so to speak. I always told that line between conceited and arrogant in school. So it was more like I always knew who I was going to be. I always had and it was just more being focused. But in the fact that I say like I would take more chances on investments and stuff like that. Like for instance, me being married at 22 to now, it's like because I never looked at, and I looked at marriage because I'll tell y'all when you get married, I know you get married soon. Marriage is not the end goal. Marriage is when it starts. People think like, oh, I'm gonna go do all this, do all that, and then okay, here it is now. I'm gonna go ahead and get married now. No, it starts, and that's how you build. So for me, it was just more me being laser. When I think about myself, it's just more going back and being more laser focused. Because being the talent that I had, I was like, some people have that talent where it's like no matter what they do, they end up being somewhat good at it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of like I procrastinated a lot. So it was just about me having. I was in school to be a doctor. Like I delivered my own kids. Like I was doing a residency. I delivered my first 2 children. I gave my wife a C-section.
That boy cold.
That nigga
So that's like stuff like that. Like I had all those things, but it's like, oh, okay, well, let's go do the
Smart as
military.
hell, bro.
They say we be our own worst enemy.
Exactly. And it was just about me being more
You gonna be my
focused.
doctor.
Just going for it, man. Stop analyzing stuff so much. I always weigh pros and cons, but
And
it
I
just
tell
want me
myself
just
to
go
join
for
the
it.
Air Force.
Instead
Just
of
go
that.
You went to the wrong branch.
Yeah, I went.
Boy went
Hey,
to
I
the
can
wrong
tell you
branch.
this. I think you use the word that we all should tell ourselves. as
Join the
kids,
Air
and that's
Force?
That procrastination.
Procrastination, man.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. Procrastination is the fucking. That's the father of failure, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we all in this room probably could have been further than we are if we got off our ass and did a certain thing at some point in our life, and we
Facts.
didn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's I love that one. That's huge. Tori, I want to get to you and ask you the same question.
Okay. I would tell myself, I guess I'm a little bit envious of this generation, how they were nurtured and believing they could really do anything they wanted to do. I would really tell myself that your personality is that. It is that. And then you could be, I could have been every time I look at these people and these kids on social media,
Say that.
I'm like, damn, that could be me, because I've been doing that.
Yeah.
But I just always have been in my own way with a lot of things, and I'm just, like we talked about on our New Year's episode, overcoming that this year. Get out of my own way, because I am that. I'm her. I am her. You know what I mean? And I wish that I got that more from my mom, and she does it now, but it's too late. It's too late. I wish I got it when I was younger, and I could have been. You know she watching, but That's really what, because I, like Sean said, I'm pretty much good at everything that I do. Like, you know, like I can draw, play instrument, all of that stuff.
Put your mind
yeah,
to it, man.
Yeah.
I can paint and all that stuff, but it's just been like, probably like Joey, like the violin. I have
You have said that before.
I got an electric one at home.
Dope.
Yeah,
I
I know.
could be a DJ.
You can be a DJ.
serious. I
The
think I
thing,
could
the
really
thing
be a
is,
DJ.
like, I wish somebody would have told me that. Just because you're different, because I felt different than outsider in my home, you know what I mean? Because I was artistic or autistic, we don't know yet. We're still waiting on diagnosis, you know what I'm saying? But
It's not a bad thing.
Hey,
I know
if you
it's not a bad
if
thing.
you
There's
autistic
dolphins that
and you
are
became a chief in the
autistic.
Navy, they need to write a book about you.
No, they
I'm just
it's like
saying,
smart as
like,
hell.
I
Yeah,
just
it's
feel like it's
doctors.
just, like, I
Yep.
feel like I'm not with, on the same levels with everybody I know.
spectrum.
You on the
Yeah,
spectrum. Don't tell us you on the
But like within the past 5 years, my friend, they're not really close like that, but they was like,
Yeah.
Tori, you are a genius. You just in your own way. And they said that, not prompted.
I get it.
I'm not going to my own horn, but
No,
That's what they had said.
No, that's the
they
thing.
said that I was a genius.
They had
Toot
said
your
I was
own
a genius.
horn.
You're waiting right now.
I'm just
Seriously,
saying,
we
you know.
don't do that all the time.
You
And
right.
us as black people, we don't. And I find that in my job. They're like, you don't toot your own
Yes.
horn, girl.
No,
I
really.
remember
Me
the first
too.
time when I had hurt my knee and I was getting out of the Marine
Hurt
Corps.
his knee.
No, let me tell you, for real. It's a serious thing. And I'm getting out of the Marine Corps, and I remember my call home, and I'm like, they're like, what you gonna do now? I'm like, I'm gonna do comedy.
Yeah.
And niggas, what? You gonna do what, nigga? You funny, nigga, but you ain't getting on stage funny, nigga. I heard that shit all the time, especially words from family. And I remember I did like a little mini tour, and I was in Savannah, and my family came to the show. And this is the first time they had ever seen me in that
Did
point.
it laugh?
What, nigga? Niggas was dying. I ain't never been that funny in a day in my life. Niggas, I was hit, nigga. And my whole family persona of me has changed since that day.
Yeah.
Now them niggas like, shit, nigga, when the next show,
That's
nigga?
what
Like,
you gotta-
nah.
Like
Yeah.
right now, I've never taken myself seriously, and I always feel like, because I am a goofy individual, you know, outside of my professional stuff that I kind of do here, but I'm really goofy, and I was like that as a child, and I feel like everybody just kind of like would never take me serious. For instance, the personal training stuff. Nobody needs a personal trainer certification to be a personal trainer on this social media with this day and age. If you can provide results, people will pay you because they
You ain't
assume that
lying.
you can get the results for them. But for me, I felt like ain't nobody finna take my ass serious unless I go get this damn
Barry,
certification.
you got the body you got without surgery. I take it serious.
Appreciate that, but I just felt like I said, in my own way, it's like I gotta get this cert, I gotta do this before I could tell people I do this, instead of just showing them what I've been doing and,
So I'm like,
and
so
prove
you
it.
work out and you got the way you at now. Bet, sign my old lady up.
Right?
So,
Appreciate that.
so we gonna get into this. We
You
gonna
gonna
wrap
roll
the
past
topic
yourself?
up. What?
I'm
my,
just re- I-
my question. Oh,
What would you tell your
for
young
me?
self?
Shit.
Yeah.
He tried to roll by his
No, I can say
Get
this.
in the studio.
I can say this though. I would tell myself, I probably would tell myself, be cocky, because for me, growing up, I hated cocky people. I hated arrogance. Like I was like, I'm confident that, like I hated them niggas. I hated women that was like that, thought they was better than people. And I was always afraid to look like I was trying to be better than somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I would
Sometimes
dumb
you are
myself
better, you
down.
know?
But I would always try to dumb myself down and shit like that. And niggas, man, it's cocky ass nigga. I'd be like, no, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cocky. You know what I'm saying? I just threw for 300 yards, nigga. You ain't stopped me, so I was talking shit. You know what I'm saying? If I was, but I be saying that if you ugly and confident, then you just confident. But if people find you attractive and smart, and all,
Cocky.
now you cocky. You know what I'm saying? You can have the same personality.
I'm cocky.
You know what I'm saying? But I wish I would have told myself that. And another thing, to be honest, I wish I would have told myself to eat clean. And I know that sounds like something minute, but I think if I would have ate clean at a young age and grew up eating clean, I think my mind would be different, my habits would be different, my life would be different. I think food, you are with dog.
I ain't saying it was like the ribs.
Nigga, niggas pork on the grill. I can call my daddy and there's some pork on the grill right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. I wish I would have ate clean because I think that shit warped me. You know what I'm saying? I think it slowed me down and I think it stopped me from progressing into the man I was supposed to be. So I mean, like I would tell myself maybe those couple of things, but. Okay, so here on In the Cut Live, we talk about problems, but we never get out of here without trying to come up with some kind of a solution, right? So today, our issue and our topic was that we failed Gen Z. So I want to get around here and I'm gonna read this passage and I want you guys to tell me what you think we can do to improve this, okay, going forward. For y'all don't have kids, if y'all have them one day, this would be something you can keep in the back of your mind. And for us parents, we can keep this one as well. So it says disrespectful behavior in a child usually occurs because they haven't yet learned emotional intelligence, right? They haven't yet learned how to solve problems or express frustrations in a mature, healthy way. In most cases, this rude behavior is temporary. And while it can test your patience, there are ways as a parent that you can deal with this phase of your child's development. Now, I want to ask y'all parents and maybe one day parents, what are the ways that you think you can help with that development stage of that behavior change and that behavior pattern? D, I want to ask you first. It's a good question, though. It's loaded as hell, but it's a good question. What ways do you think you can, like I said, there are ways as a parent that you can deal with this phase in your child's development. What ways do you think we can help
with
with
the
that?
development? I think for me, first is communication with your kid. I think if you let your kid express their self in a way that is respectful and them communicating how they feel, I think you'll get a little more out versus as in do as I say, not as I do kind of situation. Because we all grew up on that. Yeah, we are prime examples of how respectful we are to people. But I think if you put that in today's kids now and their way of doing it, I think it would be a good thing. I think communication and letting them express themselves in a respectful way is the key.
And I think that's what I was saying. The question was loaded, so let me reload the question. How can we teach our kids emotional intelligence? When they having temper tantrums, how can we as parents and aunties, uncles and shit, how can we teach them emotional intelligence, how to handle emotion in a mature way?
Well, it's different when you're not the parent. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
And so I watch a lot of kids, and they have a lot of feelings and emotions, and they don't know how to express it. So the first thing they learn to do is cry, right? They start crying. The kids I watch is, I don't watch nobody 2 and under. I can't do that, but 2,
That's it.
Yeah, for real.
Nah, I can't
Perfect.
do that.
All day.
But anyway,
Perfect.
so I try
That's
to
friends.
let them cry for a second and say, all right, breathe. I do those things because it's not my child, and it's probably a little more easier to deal with it because I don't have it every single day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, calm down,
Have it.
breathe, calm down. You know what I'm saying?
What's
And then
wrong?
yes, why are you crying?
What's wrong?
And then I try to run through a whole list of things that just happened. Are you crying because your cracker fell on the floor?
You insert
Are
logic.
you crying?
That's what you're doing.
I try to run through all this list of things that you possibly could be crying for, and eventually I'll land on some. Yes, well, we can get you another cracker. You know what I mean? And then
Solution.
It's not. We have plenty. You know what I mean? Run through the options that they may be feeling because you might you cried sometimes, you get mad at stuff. And just allow them to try and communicate with you. They may only know yes or no, but as you run through those options, it helps. And I guess when they get older, because my nephew's 15, I let him tell me his whole story. And then I say, the cause and effect, I start talking about, okay, that happened, and factual stuff, like not what you felt like. Because even though he said, well, my so-and-so did this, and it made me, no. The actual thing happened was this, and you felt like vice pinning the problem on the other person.
Yeah.
Because you are only in control of yourself.
Facts.
That kind of thing. So
Boogie, I'm really curious to hear your solution to this, because you got from here what we call the littles and the bigs. So when we at Bashan house, we call his kids the bigs and the littles. So you're like, where the littles at?
Right,
You know what I'm
the
saying? We
smaller
know that's
kids.
beyond the story. So, but with you having this age gap in kids and everything like that, how do you teach them emotional? Because I noticed one of them, I ain't gonna say his name, but one of them is more emotionally intelligent than the other ones,
Exactly.
and it ain't even close.
Right.
So how the fuck did you manage to do this? You know what I'm saying?
It's all about because when you have kids, multiple kids or whatever, they're gonna take on personalities of the parents without you even really training that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a genetic. Like sometimes you can kind of say that personality is kind of genetic.
Oh yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's like I think we're doing it. If that makes any sense. I think us being parents, like God said, train a child up in the way he should go. He'll come back. That's why I feel like they're teenagers. Who we are today is not who we were back then.
No.
Something happened, life smacked us in the face, did some shit, and we all was like, damn, mama was right. Damn, daddy was right. I think we're doing it, just the fact that we're just raising teenagers. We're at that crossroads, the same crossroads that our parents were at. So it's just about being like communicating. Like you tell your kid, hey, this is how you express yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this way. You can do it in a proper, polite, mannerable way. And they either gonna take it, they'll take it and be like, man, daddy don't know what the fuck he talking about, blah, blah, blah. They'll go on about their business. And then later on something happened and you're like, hey, dad, what's going on, man? Then he done matured. And that's all it is. It's just a maturity thing.
But let me throw this wrench at you. We talked about earlier not raising our kids in the same world because this ain't the same world.
Right.
So my question is, how do our advice, like my dad even said it, we would be like, just whoop our ass, bro. We don't want another lecture. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just beat me, nigga. But his lectures were, but you feel me though?
Yeah.
He was like, bro, because he would make us feel like shit. But what he was doing was he was raising men. You know what I'm saying? And he understood that. He was raising men, like, you know what I'm saying? Our whole theme, our household was no excuses.
Right.
Ain't no such thing as a reason, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You
My
know what I'm
house,
saying?
we don't have mistakes.
Right. But my question to you is, how do you now bridge that gap in trying to make them emotionally intelligent when you have so much competition on your phone, telling them, influencing them another way?
Well, it's
you know
part
what I
of
mean?
it. I use like I guess the word. Some of the words, like it's 3 words that we don't use now that we used back in the day. That's freak, stupid, and crazy.
Okay.
You can't say freaky,
Because now it's binary and all this other stuff, bisexual,
Oh,
this
you
and
talking
that.
that
You a
kind of
freak.
freak.
You did all shit back in the day. You was a freak.
Oh, freaky ass.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about
It
that
didn't have
kind
to
of
be. It
freak.
didn't have to have a super label to it. You was a freak. You like
back-
guys.
yeah.
You like girls. You like that. You a freak.
Yeah, you freaky.
Same every time, like I said, now we have to, like I said, we talk about mental illness.
Yeah.
That nigga crazy.
Yeah.
Just use the word,
You
nigga
can't say
crazy.
that.
It was simple,
They don't want to say it. And then the thing about it is stupid.
Yeah.
I tell my son the definition of stupid.
Or retarded.
Oh,
You
you
got
ain't
it.
gonna
You
you
can't
gonna
do
get
that.
canceled.
Yeah. But the thing about
You can't say
about
none of
stupid is the inability to apply the knowledge that you already have.
Yeah.
So if I already know it's wrong to sell drugs and I sell drugs, you're stupid because you know what the consequences are. So that's what I kind of tell my kid. I told you I don't believe in mistakes. There's no such thing as mistakes. It's called decisions. You want to call it a mistake when you regret the consequences, the decision that you made, but you made a decision.
Yeah.
There are no mistakes. So the biggest thing about that is just telling your kids about the word. Hey, this is how this go. This is how that go. Everything that happens is your fault, whether it be good, whether it be bad. It's your fault.
I say that about
It's your
that
decision.
when I say I'm single. I said I'm the only one that been in 100% of my relationships.
Yep.
You got to take some responsibility, my boy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that when, like you said, you two listening to y'all, it sounds like y'all just sticking logic over emotion in a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of what it is, what it comes down to. Lex, I know you you work with this situation. What do you think we can do to teach our kids more emotional intelligence so they can handle themselves better?
I think that it starts with us first. We as parents can't expect, I'm not a parent, but parents can't expect to teach their child emotional intelligence if they do not have that themselves. So if I'm sitting here screaming at my child or doing whatever because I'm frustrated, my child is going to do those same things when they feel frustrated. Also, like, what screaming does to your child's brain is it affects the frontal cortex and the amygdala, which all have to do with emotions, regulating your emotions, decision making. Like, so when you're screaming at your child, you're impacting those parts of their brain. So then when they grow older, they're having these issues. So it starts with us.
It's what it is.
You have to be
It's what it is.
disciplined.
And I think it's also to the way of you expressing your emotions to your kids. If you're calling your kid a fuck ass and you're like how you express it towards them.
That's a
Like,
that's a combination right there.
well, you know,
Wow.
because I'm the kind of mom, like when I
Never
talk to
been
my
called that
son,
before.
I talk to my son in a way as in, you know, people you hear it and you be like, what the fuck? No, but it's the way I talk to him. I'm not saying in a demeaning way that he really think that he's a loser. Or, but it's just like, it's some parents that really make you feel like that. Like, you're fucking stupid. Or those kind of ways, when a parent is being demeaning or make you feel
It's gotta be a balance.
When she say the front court test and all that, that's where all that
I should do a voice like
That's
that.
his parents. We're the example. So
Very
we go
much
there,
so.
like, he see you go to work every day.
Yep.
He see how much you care for him and what you pour into him. They see that.
That's what you meant when you said that's the intelligence that we're
That's the
giving them.
intelligence they have because they see us. We are the example.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is
They'll
that
come
Q does this thing, what I do when I get mad. I don't get loud when I'm mad. I don't yell when I'm actually mad. If I'm yelling at you, I'm probably not that mad. That nigga will shut down. And I'll be like, this nigga. You know what I'm saying? He can't get nothing out of him. And then I'll be thinking in my head like, oh my God, bro. That's how I am. You know what I'm saying?
In your sleep.
Yeah, I will shut. You know how much I love to talk. I will shut this shit down like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But you get what I
crying.
mean though? And now when I see him do it, I'm like, damn, that's not an emotional. I didn't teach him well when it came to that. But one thing he did learn from me is that don't react when you're mad. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I do shut down, so I don't say the wrong shit, so I don't do the wrong shit. So that's why I have to take a moment. I have to be like, hey, man, I got to back off for a second. I need a minute. I need to breathe because I'm going to say something and I'm going to regret it. You can't take shit back when you say it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad that he got that. At the same time, like she's saying, we need to teach him to express it a little bit better in a healthy way. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I've noticed in our society is the violence. The violence comes from anger. You know what I mean? Anger is an emotion. So when you niggas think y'all hard as a motherfucker, you're not. You're actually emotional. You're an emotional ass man.
That's what the jail
walking around here angry.
The jail is full of emotional ass
niggas making bad decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Very much
I used to, when I was younger, I used to have temper tantrums.
I got you.
Like, the real ones, like in the corner, like I'm about to charge up and
hold your
fuck
face.
some shit up.
Yeah.
I used to have those, and then I've been to anger management and stuff like that, and then I came to a realization, I don't know if it's real or not, but I believe it, the anger is like energy. It's not created or destroyed, it's just passed on to the next person. So, like, I used to get over the fact of being angry all the time. I'm always angry, believe it or not. You believe it. I'm always angry. At any moment, I could be.
It's snap time.
I could snap, but that's good though, cause I know.
It's how you direct that energy.
Yeah. So I then turned to annoying people. Like, if I'm mad, I probably do something annoying or whatever, and now you mad.
Right.
And then it's gone. It's gone for me. It's gone.
I just teach my kids.
I ain't mad no more.
I teach my kids to use that energy.
Your birthday song?
I'm a Leo. Like, I ain't mad no more.
I just teach my kids to use that energy for something productive for you.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Like,
That's intelligent.
I got my 12-year-old. He's Dion.
Oh my God.
Hella emotional. Like, he
Aww.
gets mad as hell. Do you understand that Dion can run 3 miles in a sprint?
Yeah.
Because when he gets upset, he just dead up off for a walk, and you'll just see him, and he just go back and forth. You use it, he gonna hell of a runner.
Yeah.
Or you use that, like, for me, like I would use to say coming up when I was, and I used to do the same thing.
Healthy outlet.
Girl might curve me, right? I try to get a little girl, whatever, like that. I'm like, okay, I'm mad.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm gonna let she don't hurt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in this class and I'm gonna get an A on this test. Because she gonna regret this shit. Because I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm going to be successful.
Yeah.
Right?
You're gonna wish, and I think Joy said like a little bit before the show. They'll spin the block.
They always
spin the
block.
Joy as in your expertise, you know what I'm saying, coming through. God, I know you do work. Shout out to you in the Black Panther organization. I know you work with the organization, man. And how do you go about teaching? Like we talking about it now. I know you still, you know what I mean. We all still working on ourselves too. You know what I'm saying, as far as our intelligence emotionally. How do you share that with the youngers?
But just don't interact while you upset. And I practice. I don't have kids, so I practice it with my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
As in, I don't talk to my fiance when I'm upset no louder than this, because anything other than this, she's not getting what I'm saying. She's too focused on whatever's coming across how I'm saying it. So I learned when I'm talking to her like this, it shows now. Make a long story short, now we done been together so long, she understands when she's doing too much, in a sense. Because if I'm only talking to you like this, why are you yelling at me? Yeah, you don't have to yell.
She'll match it.
Yeah, and then also it makes her feel safe to interact with me because she knows how I am when I'm angry. I'm not gonna talk to you louder, and if you start yelling at me, I'm gonna stop talking. Once you stop yelling, I'm gonna start talking to you. It's not, and at her problem, you're not expressing yourself. No, I am expressing myself. I'm just not gonna do it while you're talking. I ain't saying you can't talk, just not while I'm talking. Because when you talking, I ain't gonna be talking. And it took me to get to that because I used to be the one that, you gonna listen to me? You
had to get it in.
Never got my point across.
Yeah.
Not that chick I ever talked to that ever got my point across. So when I started being more so controlling, because you don't understand how much power you have as a man of peer presence. So like, I never want my spouse or my kids to, whenever I do have kids, to feel unsafe around me. Not knowing, I don't know how daddy gonna act. Nah, you know how your daddy gonna act. So go tell your daddy you fucked up in school. Yeah. So we could go ahead and get it handled, and we go on to the next thing. And since my spouse is learning my behavior pattern, my kids is gonna learn that too.
I understand that.
They're gonna understand, like, look, I ain't never seen my daddy pop off like that, but he got his point across. That's how he's gonna be. Like how my granddad used to interact. He gonna tell you one time, I don't like what you did. Yeah. And he gonna leave it alone.
But see, I think my problem with this, I'm gonna get into a little gender situation right now too, because I feel like as men we're taught you got to be a leader. We want a man to lead and this and that and the third. Women have to take pride in being leaders as well, because when you're talking about emotional intelligence, it's almost like it's okay for a woman to wild out. It's almost like we make it okay for her to throw a temper tantrum. It's not okay. You know what I'm saying? Your kids watching that, your daughter watching that, your son, the single moms, your sons are watching that. When you going off and cussing them out and, like she said, yelling and screaming and shit, they watching that. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, my grandfather, my father, always even kill. Niggas was even kill as hell. But for me, luckily, my mom was too. She would whoop our ass, but it was never like an emotional ass whooping. It was like, you know what you did and you know what's gonna have to happen. Right?
I got emotional beat.
So like what I'm saying is, like, I think that they raised us in a situation where like they both had that leadership role. Well, they wasn't together no way, but when I was in my mama's house, I felt that authority. You know what I mean? When I was in my daddy's house, I felt the same authority. And it was almost like they both had this emotional intelligence to where like, yeah, but they were small. But I feel like they both was emotional intelligent people. You know what I'm saying? And they gave us a lot of tools. My sisters, man, they all cool. You know Rachel, you know what I'm saying? Rachel don't overreact. She just got engaged. Shout out to my sister. Congratulations. She just got engaged. And always been real, like when the dude be cussing her out and shit, she just sit there like.
The Marine Corps taught me how to be
you
like
know
that.
what I'm saying?
To be honest. And I know it's surprising to hear that the Marine Corps taught me how to be like that, but I joined at 17. So once I started being like an NCO, I'm in like my early 20s, to be honest. And like interacting with like some higher ups or some like, you know, staffs and NCOs, you just gotta learn how to.
That boy talking.
You gotta learn how to listen. Let me tell you how you got me fucked up without you feeling like I'm telling you, you got me fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn, especially being young and being black. So it's like, okay, this nigga already don't respect me because I'm 21 years old. Okay? So it's not my fault, sir, that you joined the Marine Corps at 28. Okay? It's not my fault that you just now getting the E4. But let's get something to understanding. You know what I'm saying? So that I just try to apply that shit on through life, even with like my fiance. My fiance, I ain't gonna say she's emotional. She quit to go there. Like if you got her fucked up, especially if it's about me, she's gonna go there. Yeah. And I had to tell her like it's like tact, the ability to communicate without offending somebody. Okay. And a lot of people don't have tact. You know what I'm saying? So like that's something I had to teach. Not teach her, but tell her like tact don't only work when you talking to me. Right. Like you're tactful with me because you don't want your man to feel no type of way or none of that other shit. But you gotta think about that shit when you interacting at work. When you interact, because I remember she in my car, called somebody a dickhead, flicked them off, and they know that to be my car. I like, what are you doing? Because they decided to shoot this bitch up 9 times out of 10. I'm in that motherfucker.
Beef.
Yeah.
When you ain't even had to argue with her. You know what I'm saying? So like, niggas just gotta teach your kids how to express themselves by starting off by listening to them. Listen to them when they tell you. My mom used to, I'd be like, damn, something happened at school today. It got on my nerves. You ain't got no nerves. You ain't old enough to got no nerves.
That's so true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you want your kids to be emotional sound. Start off by listening to the little motherfuckers when they come to tell you that something is bothering them. The reason why they don't know how to articulate when something is bothering them, because when they come to tell your dumb ass about it, you shoot them down about it.
Yeah.
So now they got to figure out how to deal with
Hey,
it.
I remember I told my mama, I said, Mama, it's a deer outside on the porch. Ain't no damn deer. Like, see the damn deer on the porch.
I can clearly see this goddamn deer on the motherfucking porch.
I'll never forget that shit. And then we saw a damn dead deer in the street like 2 days later. I said, Ma, that's that deer.
That's that one.
That's that same damn deer.
That's that deer I said I saw.
She get on my
Yeah, but
damn nerves.
the shit be weird when you know something more than your parents. That moment when my grandma was helping me with my
Look at
math
the motherfucker.
homework, and she said, I showed her a math equation. She said, well, who the hell put letters in the math equation? Why would your dumb ass put a letter in the math equation? I said, that's algebra.
What year
nigga.
did you get out?
With an abacus. She had an abacus.
She had arithmetic.
Oh, my
Like, it was different. nigga.
Right?
She was arithmetic.
Oh, wow. She took it back.
The nigga was doing division. That's it. That's all you need to know about math, dumb
Oh,
ass.
my
nigga.
Lord.
Yeah.
Put a letter in this.
So we started the episode talking about this generation and how I feel like I feel like we let them down.
Y'all did. 'Cause y'all got kids.
I mean, like I feel like I said, you go to anything where there's a lot of young kids, just listen to them talk.
I work with the
You know
little
what I'm saying?
motherfucker.
Well, you know what
I
I'm
said
talking
give it
about.
5 years. I told you they're mature.
They'll get out of
They'll
it.
get out of it.
So we trying to come up with solutions today, and like I said, what it sounds like, we got some good suggestions, man. Yeah, I think, like I said, we just need to be more logical with our children and take some of that emotion out of it, man, and try to be more understanding of the times and how the times have changed, because this shit happens so fast, man. You know what I mean? Everything with this social media world, man, this
He hates
digital
social media.
age. No, I appreciate it. I think if you use it in the right way, it's okay. But this digital age, man, everything is just moving so fast.
Yeah.
And it's hard as a parent and as a mentor to keep up sometimes. But I'm glad that everybody was able to get that out, man. And hopefully we helped somebody if they were listening today with anything they was going through. So before we get out of here, we're going to end up on a lighter question, man. So
What you got?
we're going to wrap up, dog. Nah, I just want to know something real quick. So what is a city that y'all have recently visited or visited before that you will never go back to again?
Beaufort, South Carolina.
Not Buford.
What happened in Bruford?
Bitch, I went to boot camp at Bruford, and that
Oh,
shit
Lord.
slay
Traumatized?
hot, nigga. I was sweating from my brim of my cover to my boots, nigga. It was hot, slave hot. Nigga,
Jesus.
you know what Bruford, South Carolina is? It's Paris Island is built on an old plantation, and they got slaves buried everywhere.
Oh, hell.
So it's ghosts everywhere.
But that's.
And there's only one way on this
It's your
island and one way
ancestors.
off this
They
motherfucker.
ain't gonna get you. They gonna get them white people.
Yeah, they are.
Shit, me, you ain't get me because I ain't going outside.
They might be jealous of your
inside.
freedom, though. You know what I'm saying? They might
Hold
be
on
jealous.
now.
They might be jealous of your
They
freedom.
wanted us.
What, slaves?
Yeah.
Fuck nigga out there reading.
That is not funny.
Fuck nigga, read. Look at these niggas.
You imagine niggas be like, you ever heard somebody say, hey, if I could go back in time?
Right.
Imagine going back in time and reading a letter.
Right.
Who this nigga
Who
think
is
he
this
is?
nigga? Right.
This nigga done read
Go
a
back in
letter.
time, put some shoes on.
But you see them, what them niggas see you open up a
You see
cold
how they
Fiji
did-
water, boy, you mad? Them niggas
You
drinking
see
Fiji
how they
water?
treated Django when he came on that nine?
Yeah, they did.
See how they look at
Yeah,
that?
they did.
What that nigga doing
You
on
ain't
that
never
nine?
seen a nigger on that.
Anybody else been to a city they'd never go back to?
Yeah.
What you want to say the city?
Yeah, sure. Jacksonville, Florida.
I ain't no jit.
He's a big man.
Do all of that.
She said they kept calling me a
Listen,
jit.
do you want to know why? First of all,
They crazy.
when people, those crazy stories you hear about in
Florida,
Florida,
man. Yeah.
they probably happen in Jacksonville. Also, it smells so,
Salty.
it smells like you got eggs and put them in the microwave and
He was on the
boiled
north side,
them
wasn't he? You
for
had to be.
15 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah, you was on the north
stinks
side.
out there.
It's a sulfur mill in north side
It's a
Jacksonville.
swamp. Exactly, it's a swamp. And
Jacksonville is not a swamp.
Smell like
it's a swamp.
ass.
It's not a swamp.
Swamp ass.
It's not a swamp.
Smell like swamp
It's the
ass.
River City.
Look, he defending his
I
city
just,
like a mother.
no, I just want. I know, no,
Oh,
because
you
when
gonna
she said eggs, I knew exactly what side of town she was on. Because no other side of town smells like that.
She was like,
Because
I was
it's
on
a sulfur mill
all
over there.
sides.
So he's basically
You on the
saying that
wrong
I'm not
side of
lying.
town.
He's basically saying that I'm not lying.
Big facts. Yeah.
No, it is stink on the north side.
It's
Okay.
stink.
It's Florida size, though.
It's weird.
What else? Tell us more.
It's
Tell
just
us more.
weird. It's just weird.
Where you from, sweetie?
I'm from Reno.
Reno what?
Nevada.
Nigga,
And I would not defend my city. If you
my
came in
favorite
here and you
that
talk
niggas
shit
be
about
on
Reno,
live PD every other motherfucking day doing the same
Reno
nut
number
shit
one,
we were
bro.
doing in Florida.
yes,
But I feel you
Reno
though.
is like a methed out Vegas.
I was gonna say it's weird as hell. Yeah.
Jacksonville.
I would
ain't what a
admit
week
to
home.
that. So you should admit to Jacksonville being.
Then what?
She gave it a thumbs
No, the
down.
reason why I can't agree with what she's saying
Okay.
is simply because
You got the shirt on.
no, this Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
But it's just I get
Dang,
if you
girl.
ain't from the city, and you don't know the motion like that, I get why like that shit
Oh,
seems
she
like
don't
that.
know the motion.
You feel me?
don't know
And the nut shit that be happening.
Like, what does it even mean, bro?
The nut shit that happened in Florida, I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep it a bean with
What
you.
is-
Yeah, I'm.
But listen,
Jacksonville is a
Hold
Navy
on.
town just like everywhere else.
Yeah.
Niggas having the niggas that doing that nut shit ain't even from Jacksonville.
but first off, you saying nut shit. You said percolating earlier, and you talk about something. What else you said?
Said jit.
The jit. And what else you just said?
Big.
The motion. What the fuck you talking about?
You said Louisville. It's a whole bunch of other syllables in that motherfucker. There's a whole bunch of other syllables in that
But
motherfucker.
anyway, it just validates what she said.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, has
Whole
anyone
lot
here
of
been to
shit.
Jacksonville and it's like, I like it here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd move to Jacksonville,
Old people.
Florida.
Jacksonville
I had
is
a
the,
connecting
Said that.
flight.
to be
Old
fair,
people.
Jacksonville is the
Yeah, got
largest
back-
city
hurry up,
land-wise
got
in
it.
America. A lot of people say they want to move to Jacksonville.
All right, well,
I just felt attacked.
not her, not
because-
Lex.
I ain't never heard that
Lex
before
ain't going back.
personally.
I ain't never
I
heard
just
of
felt
it.
attacked because she said Jacksonville, Florida, and looked me in my eyes like I'm the mayor, nigga. Like I live here
Hold
with
on, you
you.
might be shit.
I don't like it too tough. I left.
But the way you jumped up, I already
Right.
knew.
That's big fat. You don't even want to go back.
I was trying to invite these niggas
don't
out of my
wanna go
hood.
back.
These niggas don't want to go.
We
He
don't
didn't
want
tell
to
me.
go.
He didn't tell me one good thing about Jacksonville. That whole
I
time
don't want
he
to
was
go
there.
where
Yes, he
slides
The
and stuff.
motion.
I can tell you one good thing about
Tell me.
Jacksonville.
The motion.
Do you have a positive image of me?
No.
I do.
Good. That's
You
one
doing a
thing
lot
for
of
One
Jacksonville.
good thing about Jacksonville.
Thank you. Hey, out of all the shit you think about bad for Jacksonville, you be like, you know what? Joey ain't that bad.
You
Or
got
Darren,
Duval
whatever
on
you
his
want to
leg.
call me in your head.
It's on
Ain't
his
that
leg.
bad.
as
It's
you
on
can
my
see.
leg. Duval is a very complex
think you spelled
city.
it wrong. No,
No, it's spelled right. Duval is a complex city because it's a lot of it's a lot of nut shit that do go on in Jacksonville. But I'm gonna stand for my city and all that. You feel me? It's a lot of love and talented brothers and sisters in Jacksonville.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, man. Anybody else?
I
Not
never
really.
go back to Seattle.
What's in Seattle?
That's
Nah, say somebody else hometown in
That
here.
shit
Y'all
trash.
niggas wanna say my motherfucking hometown? Fuck y'all. Ain't nobody say
mad.
shit about
He's gonna
Louisville.
be
Ain't nobody
mad
say
all
shit about
night.
St. Louis.
Man, relax.
See?
Man, you know what?
Mine is Deming, New Mexico.
Who?
What the fuck in
What
New
is
Mexico?
Deming, New Mexico.
Where's that at?
Now, why the hell you go there?
And I
I was on the way passing through, coming from Virginia
Yeah.
to California.
What
I
happened?
was driving across, and we go to the McDonald's. You seen the movie like The Hills Got Eyes?
Yeah.
That's what it
That's
was. So it's like they
Virginia.
talking about the nuclear bombers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, you know the monster from the Goonies?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, you guys.
Yes.
Hey, you guys showed up and took my order
Right.
at McDonald's.
Hey, you guys took my order.
And you ate it.
And Smeagol brought the fries.
You know what I mean? Like
That nigga said Doodle Bob took his order.
you know, they trying to like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, no.
You didn't want to breathe the air out
Hey,
there.
equal opportunity employment. That's what it looked like going on
And then
here.
there was like another hunchback that was taking food.
I'm like, whoa.
Where am I at?
happening?
Hey, they
What are
wanted
they eating
them
out this
I don't know what the hell is going on.
equal
Don't eat that
opportunity employment.
Hell
Don't be
no.
mad about it. Shit.
Right.
It probably was.
They had,
I was hungry, so I don't
that
know.
nigga had horse knuckles
They
in that
thought they was
motherfucker.
working hard.
But yeah, it was
That
wild.
nigga had a cerebral palsy.
Yeah, I was a little scared,
That ain't
man.
even funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared. I don't mind giving another chance
Hey, you know
though.
what? Hey,
I'll give it
hey,
another
Bob,
chance, but I'm just like, that's
I
just
never
wild.
got a chance to go to St. Louis. Back when I was a kid, my mom used to take us on trips
Yeah.
everywhere. You know, I got a D that time, and she said I couldn't go.
Oh.
They went and got on that gateway without me, and I still ain't never been.
To St. Louis?
Yeah, I cried about that shit.
Don't cry. You'll be all right. Huh?
The goddamn
The
arch.
arch.
The golden goddamn arch.
We got a
don't-
Ferris wheel
don't
now.
Go.
A big ass Ferris wheel.
That is just
Love
like
it.
LA. I always dreamed to go to LA.
We got
and
a Ferris
see
wheel
the,
now.
the Walk of Fame. And then I got there, and
it
they
was
nothing
not
homeless
as
niggas and peeing
Peeing
doo
on
Not as
Right.
glamorous.
Somebody peed on Oprah
Right.
Star.
Why is it a turd on Tyler Perry? They making a point?
You can't even read half of the shit that do to him.
Every morning they push them off the stars. Get off the stars.
Get off here.
I wouldn't go to Okeechobee, Florida.
You would not?
I would never go to that mode.
Name that. Say that one more
All
time.
these places.
Okeechobee.
Why the fuck would you even try to go
One,
there?
Okeechobee is the
My
city. It's like, you know what, that big
Okeechobee,
ass circle
Florida.
that's on the map on Florida. That's the Okeechobee. That's
Okay.
the largest land-made lake in history.
Man-made,
Oh, wow.
man-made.
Man-made lake.
There you go.
Made
There you
in
go.
1921.
stink.
So it has to-
Why
and I
water
bet it
throughout.
stink.
But it's a city that connect West Palm Beach, where my family is originally from, to
Yep.
Fort Myers, the other side. In the middle of there, when I see that clan, nigga,
The Klan.
clan is clanning. I'm driving my little
The
Concord.
Klan is clanning.
I'm driving my.
Get on my nerves.
I'm driving a. I'm gonna tell you how,
They
nigga.
put their hoods on.
Cause me and my homeboy, we don't leave. He from Fort Myers. I got family in Palm Beach.
Yeah, yeah.
We landed in Palm Beach.
So you
know,
had to
shit
go through that shit.
You feel me? We riding in the middle of the night. You see some
hell
white
no.
dudes.
That don't even make no
all-
sense.
Like it's one road, no trees, no houses, and it's like it's like 400 miles, just nothing but swamp.
Yeah, yeah.
And it get to
Swamp.
this like area, and these white dudes are around like a small fire.
No, sir.
And I stop at a stop sign,
Sounds like a meeting.
and I crack a joke, and I said, "Them niggas having a clan meeting." And as soon as I said, 3 crosses lit up on fire.
Duh.
And I ain't never drove a 2010
Man, what?
Nissan Armada.
That's crazy.
Hell no.
My homegirl told me, yeah, they don't mess with nobody that you know of, bitch. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
they
They one
don't.
of them embedded members.
I ain't been back
Don't
there.
mess with nobody until they put their cop uniform on. If
Yeah.
anybody else, so we gonna say goodbye to here, man. I want y'all to give me a recap of what y'all thought about today, man. Talking about the Gen Z, talking about what we can do to kind of help along the lines of helping our generation become more stable, man. Because like we said, we watching videos of kids fighting teachers, and I seen a video recently of this lady just trying to get into an apartment building, and there's like fucking 20 kids around her. They beat the brakes off that
She
lady.
did something to them kids.
You think so?
She been had
I
this.
ain't never seen 20 kids just want to beat
Yeah.
one
That's what I'm
person
saying.
ass.
You know what I was saying when you? It's funny that you said that because in my mind, I think that's why we failed them. Because a lot of times we make excuses for shit. Like when I was watching, I was reading online. They was like, the little girl with the phone was like, oh, she shouldn't have took her phone. It's grown people saying this.
Now I ain't gonna lie, my
She
teacher
shouldn't have
took my
touched her
phone. I bit
property.
the thumb
I'm like,
back.
what? These are people's parents saying this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's wild to me.
Hey,
But
to
y'all
be
act like
honest,
y'all ain't never
don't
did
take
nothing
my
to the
baby
teacher.
shit. Call me.
But that's my thing.
don't say nothing
But see
about
what I'm saying?
y'all
I think that's the problem.
Oh.
'Cause
I'm
we
being
so-
serious.
We so defensive toward our kids, like we ready to stand in front of them because baby ain't did no wrong. Baby don't do no wrong
Right.
because
But
we can't.
know our kids. Like,
Yes.
Well, we know that,
You
but we gonna
know
do it.
your
Then-
kids,
Right.
and that's what it
But
is.
anyway,
You know your
but y'all act
kids.
like y'all ain't never did nothing to the teacher though. Y'all
Yeah.
didn't-
I
you ain't
did.
bit the
I
teacher
did.
before.
And take your phone from you.
Yeah.
In this room right now.
Yeah. This ain't that room. Okay, let me explain something.
this
Hey,
ain't
shout
that
out to
room.
producer Black in the building, man. Black just said if he stood up and took my phone from me right now, that's not that. If we was in high school and we had a Walkman, and the rules of this class was
bring the Walkman.
don't bring a Walkman in this motherfucker.
was the rule.
And I got it out, and they was like, okay, I'm confiscating your Walkman to the end of the day because you knew that was the rules, right?
That's-
And I did it any fucking way.
I'm bending your thumb.
Right? And they take my Walkman. I'm not about to go behind a desk and be like, don't touch my shit when I know the rules. See, the thing is, if you can't follow the rules in this little classroom, what you gonna do when you get in the world?
Well,
That is
either
true.
way,
What you gonna do when you get
That
in the
is
world?
true, but think about
It's
it.
just a simple rule.
When I
Put
had
the
my
phone away.
Walkman, well, I had a CD player. I ain't quite as old as you. But when I had a CD player,
He told her walk me
you
down.
know what I'm saying? The niggas
had a
like, if the
Walkman.
rule wasn't allowed to have like the CD player and shit, don't come and snatch it out my hand.
Yeah.
Well, I understand I broke the
Don't
rule. If you like,
disrespect me.
my teachers used to be like, give me your Walkman. I'm gonna hand it to you.
Right.
But if to come and snatch one out my hand,
I don't remember
crazy.
seeing her snatch her phone though. You
No,
know
no,
what
I'm
saying?
not saying. I'm
But
just saying.
my
Based on
point,
what you
my
was
point in
saying.
saying that is, it was too many adults making excuses for the girl. You didn't follow the rules.
She learned
man.
because she got her ass whipped.
Well, yeah, she learned the hard way, but she shouldn't have had to. You know what I mean? It shouldn't even have came
Could've
to
been other
that
parents standing up
because
for the teacher.
somebody let her down.
That lady booty was out.
Yes, it was. But
Ain't
somebody
nothing
let that
wrong
little
with a
girl
teacher not
down
wearing no
to make her
drawers.
feel like she had to.
She had on drawers. She had a thong on.
She was entitled enough
Ain't
to
no
go
wrong
back
with
there and take her shit out that woman's hand. And she teed off on her too.
Who's the generation before, what is it? Millennial?
Millennials, that was Generation X.
Generation X.
Yeah,
Them niggas, them leather pants wearing ass niggas.
crackhead.
Lyles went.
Whatever.
So did they feel,
Oh, my bad.
they
Whatever.
feel us?
Did they? Hell yeah. Because this is how I feel like
He's
they
right-
failed us though.
right behind
because the daddies, shout out to mine because I got one. But all my friends, I remember growing up, none of my friends really knew their daddy like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they thought I was weird because my daddy was always around and shit. But I think now, one thing I can say is this generation, the men I know, all them niggas take care of their kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know no nigga that ain't no daddy in some way.
But the niggas that don't take care of kids, the one that get the light, and that's to be the fucked up part. Some women be like, why y'all don't tell y'all homeboys they bum ass daddies? Cause we don't know. Like the niggas I hang around all got kids and they in their kids' life. I don't niggas that don't hang around their kids. I'm like, I'm not hanging around this nigga.
Right.
Yeah,
it's something about them.
You know what I'm saying? So like, what I look like? I'm not fucking with a nigga that don't take care of their kids. I know some niggas that's horrible husbands, horrible.
Great father,
great daddies.
I don't want to blast them, but I know there's somebody
like
close to
that.
me that's like that.
Be a good daddy.
A nigga, a great father, terrible husband.
Terrible. My homeboy, a terrible husband. His wife be like, can you talk? I can't.
As long as he's taking care of his kid,
But,
that's all.
Yeah, he take care of his kids. He
You
there.
need to divorce him
Yeah.
and let him take care of his kid.
So D, what did you think about today's show? You want to give us a recap?
Recap of it, I actually love everything about it. The conversation was great. I like the input on being a single dad, mom, married man, also having people that don't have kids. I like the input. I like that we can have a discussion and it's not always yes, or I agree. It's more like, well, this is my kind of input and we can all work from it. Dream work, make teamwork.
Yes, ma'am.
Period.
So,
Differences is what bring us all together. Lex, what you think about today? You enjoy yourself?
What'd you say?
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys allowing me to come on here and having different perspectives here because I know that I am not a parent, but I'm with people who are parents, but I do work with kids. So I think that it was good hearing different perspectives, especially because I am at the further end of the millennial. We have people here from the beginning of the millennials, like the 80s, and then to me, I was born in 95. So
I had a PlayStation when you were born. I ain't gonna lie.
that part.
Can't come back no more until you like Jackson.
So we let you down. Nah,
But then
I'm
you guys say that, and y'all look. Me and her are friends.
Yeah.
You know,
and we're really good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll tell you how people can
Yeah.
relate to each other.
Joy, how you feel about being back, man? We back in the swing, baby. How you feeling?
Y'all almost missed me. I am happy. I am happy to be back. You know what I'm saying? Spreading this knowledge to y'all little niggas out there. For real. Y'all niggas really miss me for real. And the thing is, y'all brought this lady on here, and at the end, she like something about Jackson. This lady.
Not this lady. He's so offended.
She could have said any other fucking city. She could have said St. Augustine.
You could have been any place else.
I
in the
never
world.
been there. He said a place that I've
chose my
been.
city, and it's okay. Because I'm a
She's
choose.
offended.
That stinking ad. Nah.
It stinks.
And that's
Real
okay.
bad.
And how I feel about being back, you know how I feel. Those who seek God in the typically die at 10:30.
Amen. Holla Ibaba Sheha. Boogie!
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, man. Good to be back, man.
How'd you feel, man? Thanks for coming on, man, and opening up and letting us in your life like that, brother.
Yeah, man.
How'd you feel about it?
It's a lot, man. I enjoyed it, man. Like I said, all the different perspectives, man. Sharing ideas, actually talking about a solution.
That's what I'm thinking.
A lot of people, like, they just have these conversations and it almost sounds like a complaining session.
Yeah.
And then they can't really come with so all those inputs of hopefully the people see it, man, and can take some stuff from the ideas that we put together.
Facts.
Like that, so.
Facts. Self-aware, man. Self-aware. Turi,
Hey.
what's happening, G?
I'm happy to be back. But as far as this episode, I really always value people who have children that express how they do with their kids, because eventually one day, God willing, I'll have some of my own and I'll take all these inputs, you know what I'm saying, and decide what's the best way for my kids, you know?
I appreciate that. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to let y'all know right now, man, that we will be back again next week with a new topic, with some new everything, man, new ideas and everything like that we're going to share. We will be online, and we like to hear from everybody, too. So if y'all want to come up with, y'all should talk about this, talk about that. It's okay to shoot suggestions, man. We might snatch one up. So we might snatch one up. So keep on shooting them out, man. Shout out to High Angle in the building, man. Shout out to Hookah Tay coming through with the tobacco-free hookahs in this thing, man. So shout out to Tay in the building, man.
Smokey Oak.
Shout out to Smokey Okie. Thursdays, we're going to start doing Smokey Okie. It's a karaoke. It's a smoke-friendly karaoke. We'll say that. And it's a time. We started
smoke
doing
everything but crack.
We smoke everything but crack and meth.
And meth.
Oh yeah, you can smoke that.
And heroin.
Yeah, you can hit a little meth.
Hell no. Hell no.
Because he from Jackson,
Because he's
Florida.
We don't
He
even.
from Jackson.
They don't even do meth in
I don't want
Jacksonville.
to ask it.
What?
Can you
That's a
smoke
West Coast
heroin?
thing.
Yeah, you can.
Relax.
You can. You can.
It's don't
You can.
you gonna fucking that'll be your last breath.
What? Smoke what?
You can.
Can you smoke heroin?
You can.
Yeah, gonna be your last.
That'll be your
hit.
last puff.
It will not.
Shout out. You really a
Now I want to know too much.
I don't do it, but I know
so
people.
much. How would one smoke that?
We'll talk
do
about
it
it
with
another
liquid?
time.
With a
We're not
spoon
gonna
and a
talk
lighter.
about it.
Oh,
I want to get.
Oil.
My mama's a crackhead.
Hey, listen, oh my God, listen. I want to give a shout out. To Red
Sorry,
Cup Gang,
guys.
Red Cup Gang,
Red
in the
Cup,
building,
baby.
Man.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Terrell, man,
Shout out,
showing
shout
up,
out.
man, giving us all of the fresh gear, man. Our sponsor, man. So thank you again for joining us here on In the
know
Cut
so
Live,
much.
and we will see you guys next week.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a crash course. What y'all know?
About crack.
I don't. It's
Heroin.
heroin's not crack.
Hey, if-
No. So what heroin?
She want all the rules.
What you do? It's.
I don't want to know the step by
I-
steps, but I just.
I can tell you step by step.